We are live. We are live. This is the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream. We are here for Smackdown tonight and a little bit of TNA, but TNA is already on air. Smackdown will be on in about 30 minutes. We got some semifinal matches going down on Smackdown tonight. It's going to be a fun one, so let's get into it. What is up, guys? We are live. We are live for Smackdown tonight. We got a great show going on. The stream is going to be great as always. I am not here alone. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the man who puts the T in TNA, Ringsider Anthony. I am Big Nick. Yes, we got another feel-good Friday. We got Friday Night Smackdown tonight, and we got to talk about this. We were already talking about this before we went live, my guy, of TNA, free show, free platform now of TNA Plus. Was, we assumed, going to go at 8, moves it in the middle of the day to 7 o'clock, kind of already may have some matches that were going to be advertised that aren't going to be advertised now type of deal. How are you feeling?
So regarding the move to 7 o'clock for a TNA fan, I'm definitely okay with it, especially with SmackDown being on tonight. So I get to watch the first hour as it is happening right now, uninterrupted with no SmackDown involved. So I was okay with that. When I found out, I was like, oh, bet this is awesome. But I know for them trying to grab new fans and try to build the momentum of the TNA Plus app, I said yesterday that a lot of this was kind of rushed and it needed to be thought out and planned a little bit better. TNA will grow and learn from that as they got new management and, in places. So for that case, yeah, they could plan a little bit better. The matches, as I may have explained to Nick a little bit. Now, a lot of the times with the tapings, they announce the matches ahead of time. This one was a little different because, this was supposed to be a taping and then it turned into a live episode. So some of the matches that were announced might not happen until after this live episode, which is another dropped, another drop ball maybe from TNA where they could have just announced that matches that were going to be a part of the live episode. But that's kind of how I feel. That kind of sums up my feeling.
Fair enough. I know I asked you before, but I'll ask you for the viewing audience, which shout out everybody in the chat. I already see it all filling up and everything as we're popping off on a Friday. But is it a bit of a fumble? We even talked last night when we were here watching the TNA episode from last night of they could have had the live episode then, do just tapings now, and no one would have been none the wiser. Everyone would have been happy, kumbaya, and all of that. This feels, like you mentioned, of TNA's decision making feels like it's very last minute. So this feels like they kind of poor planning leads to poor execution. And this is definitely feeling a bit like poor execution.
Yeah, it's definitely, it gives the last minute feel. If anyone does, anything last minute, it always kind of feels rushed, and absolutely this kind of feels rushed. They could have, in hindsight, they could have recorded one episode of TNA Impact after Against All Odds 2 weeks ago, which would have been last week's episode, and then they could have booked this arena that they're in for, 3 straight nights if they wanted to, and had a live episode yesterday and then had the 2 recordings, Friday and Saturday, or what the case may be. But this definitely feels rushed and last minute, and I know hopefully in the future they'll do better.
Yeah. Well, now see, they just need to hire all 3 of us. Each one of us can go to a different company and we'll just help tell them what they're doing wrong. We'll be consultants, Tony, you probably need us, Tony. But yes, for those who are watching along though too, we do have a women's battle royal. I don't even want to try and guess at how many women are in it and who's in it, but it's for the women's #1 contendership for the Knockouts title. But we do also, speaking of women, we got Friday Night Smackdown. There was a bit of a rumor going around of, especially now, things might have to change with Evolution because Liv's out, Liv's injured. So to some people, they've had to completely rewrite the show. To other people, they have to just change a match. But Trish Stratus might be stratifying her way on Friday Night SmackDown tonight.
Yes, if Trish Stratus is going to be a part of evolution, let it happen, right? One of the all-time greats, 7-time women's champion, came back a couple of times, had some really decent matches, especially the one against Becky Lynch at what was it? Shoot, I forgot what it was, but it was a cage match. I do know that. I've watched that a couple of times. And yeah, Trish Stratus still can go at her almost big age of, I think she may be 50.
Oh, so she looks younger than the Victoria Crawford. So
she does. She doesn't
I'll give
age.
her that.
She doesn't age at all.
Canadian the maple syrup don't crack, folks. But yeah, I guess I still got to stand on business because I wasn't a fan of Nikki Bella coming back because there's so much talent on the women's roster. I don't think we're at this point. We need the vets to prop up this show, this all-woman show, this evolution. Two people, yourself included, very adamantly were strongly clamoring for this show the minute the first one ended. So I don't think it's veteran dependent. Now, granted, like you said, Trish can actually still go in the ring and still can be a viable contender and be an active superstar. Nikki, to me, has always still just been mediocre. So I would like the idea if we get Trish. What it's going to be interesting of what she does. Do we do a Trish Charlotte again or anything? Do we do a Trish Tiffy team up again? How do we involve Trish in Evolution?
I don't necessarily know how we involve her in Evolution just yet. I'm trying to fantasy book it and I don't have anything like really for Trish Stratus. I do know, a couple of, when Evolution was about to happen, the match that I wanted to see that was actually announced was Trish Stratus versus Alexa Bliss, and that never happened because Alexa Bliss got injured. If they wanted to run that back or run it for the first time at this Evolution, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I know Alexa Bliss got her hands tied with Asuka tonight. She got her hands tied with Charlotte. So there's a lot going on.
Right. Yeah. And again, folks, these are all just rumors. I think this was a rumor that was floated around like earlier in the week about Trish showing up, and then it's been kind of all quiet on the Western front. It's been a slow wrestling news day today, I feel, my guy.
Yeah, it has. It's been a slow wrestling news week, honestly, which is good because everybody wants to hop on something and give their opinion, which is probably wrong. So,
well, folks' opinions who are never wrong, but they're hopping on something. I'm pausing. I'm trying to segue. Let's say hi to the people here and not sound provocative. But Clay, what's up? KJ and Big Nick, happy Friday. No KJ, Anthony. KJ's on a vacation, staycation. He had to go to the high mountains, the high priestesses of Canada and everything like that to go and sit down, if I can find the slide, to go and sit down with the French-Canadian Frankenstein, PCO. So absolutely, he's out there on a vision quest. He's trying to catch up with Darby going down the mountain as he's going up it. Yes, make sure you check out that interview too as well if you're missing the gray bearded one. But Zach, what up? Kevin, what up? Hit 6 times 2, acknowledging your tribal chief. I see. I think your new name went up, homie. Big Dog is back. Eric, hey, Wrestling for Life buddies. Can't wait for tonight. Cena versus Killings rematch, and happy birthday to Jessica Havoc. Yeah, this, I got to find it, but this match between Raw and the Truth Killings and John Cena is going to be really interesting, I feel. Has the whole Ron Killings thing really kind of given John Cena's heel turn a life raft to float along?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess I have a lot of personal opinions with this when it comes to John Cena's heel run. Like, it hasn't. I'm just gonna be, because I have been very quiet.
Your grievances, sir.
I have been very quiet about the R-Truth thing. I haven't tweeted, I haven't made a video or anything. I'm gonna just be perfectly honest. I didn't really care. Let me rephrase that. When R-Truth was released, he was just released to me. I didn't have a feeling of a big movement. We want truth, all of that. That didn't resonate with me. He just was released like anyone else. And that's kind of how I treated it. So as we move past that, him returning obviously didn't do anything for me because I didn't really, I wasn't really involved with him being released, right? I didn't have an opinion towards it. So for me, this just has been the same type John Cena thing that he's been doing since he turned heel. It hasn't changed anything for me. It hasn't changed my opinion. It's still kind of lackluster. Everybody has loved R. Killing's return, or R-Truth, whatever he's being referred to at this point. It doesn't really matter to me. That's kind of how I feel. I've been very quiet about it. But
well, no, that's super interesting, because that's honestly a perspective I have not heard of. There's been some people that are still just boo-boo the foo when it comes to Cena's heel turn, regardless of R-Truth. Go ahead.
Pause for just a second. JC Jane is on TNA.
As
Ash by Elegance just won the Battle Royal. What is happening?
So now is it going to be, which one do you want to choose for? Which one do you want to fight for? That might be what it be. We might see Dana Brooke back in NXT.
Yeah. This is interesting. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good, because trust me, your take on all of that was so interesting, because it's something I hadn't heard, doesn't cross my mind at all. And I don't know if anyone agrees with you in the chat. You can scroll down and let me know. But I've seen a lot of people that'll be boo-boo the foo on John Cena's heel turn. It hasn't been great. It's still marred by Travis Scott and Dwayne. It's still just kind of phoning it in. Heel John Cena. Obviously, you have the whole We Want Truth army that's been diehard, steadfast. I can't believe that WWE could even imagine doing this. You pretended to lie to me. What? I think I'm somewhere in the middle of I'm caught up in the Ron Killings thing. I think it's really helped John, because I'm sick of John versus Cody. That's the big thing. Is I really like this as an out of the blue. The fans have gotten behind it, and they've acknowledged that there's a viable audience of the fans that have gotten behind it. And whether it's a shooter of work, whether it's kayfabe or not, they've let everybody feel how they want to feel about it, and just still really rode that emotion with it.
Yeah, and I think really one of the big things that turned me off about this was after R-Truth came back, it was like the debate: was it a work, was it a shoot? And it was like, does it really matter at this point? You got what you wanted, right?
That's
you guys wanted
R-Truth
back. You got R-Truth back. Now we're having a secondary petty argument about, is it a work or is it a shoot? Shut up. You got what you wanted. Move on. And I think that's where my headspace is with the whole R-Truth thing. It wasn't like I didn't care. I just treated it like another release. People have gotten released so much at this point. I feel like I'm just numb to it. So why react? So when R-Truth got released, it was like, why do I need to react to this? And then it was the subsequent reactions after he came back. It was like, just let it go. And I really think sometimes the internet just turns me off to having any type of feelings to anything that's going on in wrestling.
Fair enough. That's why we try and be the alternative and everything. Do we have it? I don't know if we have it, but we're the hashtag WFU. We're the Wrestling Fans United. We're the dirt sheet, anti-cure, anti-venom, what have you. But yes. I think R-Truth was a surprise one, because he was coming off of the hottest point in his career. But I do very much agree, and we've talked about it on a couple streams before and everything, going through this whole scenario of, I don't care if Dad stole or bought the PlayStation 5. I got a PlayStation 5.
Right. No,
that's what you mean, right? I don't care how I got it. I got it. That's what it should really be. That's what I like, though, of they've kept it to the fans. There's a chunk of the fans that believe that their voice was heard. They pivoted. They got the Cody Crybaby syndrome, the yes movement of they got WWE, the Titanic, to turn in a fucking kiddie pool. So they're listening to us. And then there's the other audience that, that should view it, honestly, in my eyes, of I'm that invested in it. And if they pull the wool over my eyes, then that's phenomenal, because it's been so long since someone's done that.
True. I think, I think also for me, which would make this a little bit better too is I'm not understanding why this match is not a title match tonight. Like we went through all of that just to go back to a singles match between the two.
Do you feel Ron deserves a title match? Could this be building to a title match down the road? Could Ron the Truth Killings be the one who takes the title off of Cena in the end? Or could he, and I think KJ first kind of brought this up on the channel, could it be R-Truth wins it at some point, wins it off Cena? He defeated the Big Evil. Oh, Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins cashes in, rips the heart out of everybody.
Could be. I just don't. Where would you fit it at, right? Because right now we know we have Cena and CM Punk at Night of Champions next Saturday, right? I don't see Cena being on the Saturday night main event card because we got the huge Gunther and Goldberg match, so I don't see him defending there. So, would you have R-Truth versus Cena at SummerSlam?
That gets interesting because I've said publicly that we need to get sparingly with these dates when it comes to John. I know he's got 18, 19, 17, whatever, but we've got to make it till December, like the end of December here with this. I don't know if you would do it at SummerSlam. You could do it. Depends on if you want to do it early. It depends on when you want John to drop the title, honestly, and kind of work back to being a babyface. Because if you do the Seth thing, or if he even just drops it straight to Ron, and then maybe that's where John comes back to a babyface. I don't want John Cena versus Cody, and we'll talk about that later when we get to the King of the Ring semifinals and everything. But you could have all of that take down at SummerSlam if you're going to give John an extended period to kind of redeem himself. I could see this happening at the very last, the 12 o'clock hour, the midnight hour of John Cena's about to walk off as the last real champion. He's going to accomplish ruining wrestling. And he's taken on the guy that the wrestling fan base has gotten behind in R-Truth. R-Truth wins it. Win one for the Gipper. And then eats a stomp. The camera pans in on R-Truth of putting the belts around him. Boom, stomp. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed just decimate this man. Seth Rollins cashes in. The second everybody gets something nice, they take it away.
I mean, that could be that could definitely be a plan. Now for me, I don't see R-Truth like winning the title or anything.
Oh, this
like
is completely fantasy. Like, I'm not going to be mad, by the way, if that doesn't happen. That is just pipe dream.
Yeah, I know for me personally, I don't want to see, like R-Truth have the WWE championship or anything. I personally was just saying, at least for this match right here, with all the hoopla about R-Truth, why wasn't this match a championship match? I don't think R-Truth was going to win it, but he's came out week after week since returning, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and rush John Cena and beat him down. So why not just have a championship match to end this between these two with John Cena retaining?
I'll answer your questions. By the way, we have Left Hand with his hand tied, with, funny enough, his left hand tied, taking on Mustafa Ali on TNA. And yes. And I know we'll get back to saying hi to the peoples. I think we made it through a record 5 comments before we went off topic and went off, on a tangent. But which do you believe Ron could win more, a non-title or a title match?
A non-title match. So
right. So you have it, and then you can have Punk interfere and cost him, because it's funny and it's really an interesting tie-in and a dynamic that the last time we saw all 3 of these guys involved was R-Truth spearing John Cena through a table while CM Punk came out in a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt and cut the infamous pipe bomb.
That's true. And you're right with, R-Truth more likely to winning a non-title match than a title match. So I can see why this is happening tonight. Maybe I just need to not care as much as I have been not caring.
So the antidote for what I've been doing is more on what I've been doing. Well, we should get back to what we was doing, and what we was doing, if I can say the words in my hillbilly-ishness. we were saying hi to the peoples, but C Money, what up? Kevin, what up? Odds saying the vitamins be low, never over here, but sorry about your struggles. But yeah, feeling the good vibes tonight. Feel Good Friday. Made it through the end of the week and everything. Riding off into that weekend here before it starts to get into crazy seasons. King and Queen of the Ring, before Night of Champions, before we get into All In, Great American Bash, etc., Saturday main events.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like almost every weekend in July has something going on. But the last weekend in June is the Night of Champions, and then 2 weeks later, you got All In and Evolution and all the other stuff. The week after that, you got Slammiversary. It's like it's never ending.
Right? This is the show that goes on and on. But no, I like that we're finally getting a brunch with the boys with Night of Champions of it is, yes, I know, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we're gonna leave it at that. But 1 o'clock start time, get in and out, middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. Again, who doesn't want to enjoy some wrestling in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday?
Right. I've been calling it midday champions for us in America, because that's what it is, midday champions.
There you go. We might have to have a midday championship exclusive only to the brunch with the boys. We have to have a mid-card title now. It's getting too competitive with the predictions championship, which I do also, I know we don't have a slide for it, but I do want to mention, as we've got 81 some odd people kicking with us. Let's see if we can get triple digits, but top chatters of last night's stream and everything in respective orders: MDB, Ronan, and then Boston, and coming in third place. Apparently he wasn't a big fan of you last night.
It sounds like it.
Right? But yes, no, we're taking advantage of this whole little YouTube ranking system that they decide to pop out there. So we try and click on as much chat comments and everything. I know we're behind the times a bit with everybody, but we do have the super chats, the super stickers, the memberships, all the buttons and bobbles and the gizmos and the gadgets for you. But yeah.
Absolutely. We got all those things for you. Become a member. Help us out here.
The wrestling god. Oh, we're still up into where people think you're KJ. Oh God. All right. Moving on. Dennis, what up? Timmy, what up? Odds. A3. I don't know, have my Minnesota A, so I don't know still how to Ope, Andale, Aribe. How will they have Alexa or Asuka lose? Both are booked strong at the moment. Wyatt's get involved, help Alexa. Charlotte gets involved, costs Alexa. There you go.
Yeah, easily. I feel like it'd be the Charlotte getting involved and Asuka wins. So I think that's where we go tonight.
You think Asuka is the clear favorite?
I think so, because I think they're doing Asuka and Io at SummerSlam. I would hope. I think that would be fun.
It would make the most sense, as I got Cedric coming out right now. But yeah, because for a while you thought you were going to do Charlotte Jade, and that kind of went out the window when Alexa won.
Yeah. So Cedric Alexander did sign?
We got the heart and soul of 205 Live, folks, for anyone that knows and anyone that's an OG extracurricular WWE fan.
And that pop from the crowd. So this is who she's been on the phone with for the past couple of weeks.
And he's telling Tasha Steelz to get up. Oh, we got a tug of war. As I'm going to tug along with these comments, you let me know if anything pops off, sir. But Christian, what up, my guy? Zach, Queen Roxanne, Jerome, Denisha,
what's up, Denisha?
What up? This TNA show has been great so far. I wish I could have watched it starting at 8 o'clock. But so Cedric forming his own. He's taking over the rest of the he's kicking Ali out of his tribe.
So he's taking over the tribe. I like that. Mustafa Ali needs to be by himself anyway. He needs to be solo.
He's going to go to AEW and pair with Ricochet and be in a faction. Alan, what up? Boston, I got you. Mega, again, no, you missed my whole my rave about where KJ is. He's out there talking to the great French-Canadian Frankensteins and everything. So yes. Mega, no, oh, I'm behind. Clay, what up? Vance, Larry, do you see anything I need to click on, sir?
I don't
Greg,
think
what
so.
up?
You've gone through everything so quickly. I think we might be okay.
Fair enough. Dawn, are my eyes deceiving me? Am I really seeing Anthony on a Friday night stream? Oh my
What's up,
goodness.
Don?
Hello, Nick, and hello, Anthony. Absolutely. Your eyes do not deceive you. Yeah, Anthony, you know, spending, you know, we're getting back-to-back double headers with you and I here tonight.
Right.
Thursday and Fridays.
Yeah, we had TNA last night on Thursday. We got SmackDown tonight. It's just a lot going on, and I actually got to get SmackDown set up because I forgot. So hold on.
I'm at the end of Independence Day and shit right now, my guys. So I'm living the high life here. Instead of Mr. Every Night KJ White, I am Mr. Sometime Tonight. Christian, what up? MDB, I don't know if I missed you, but hi. Anthony hates anything funny. KJ got a puppet and got Hollywood on his shape. Yeah, he went Hollywood. He's out there with Harley Cameron working out puppet deals.
Yeah, KJ has got the night off, y'all. He deserves it. He needs it.
Right. Paul Ryan, in a minute, my guy. Glad to see you around these parts.
What's up?
Happy Friday, Ant-Man and Nick Nack, Patty Whack, give a dog a bone, Jack. What? Does that make me new Jack? Do I got a stash with folk now?
I think so.
Where's Spaz out here with all the goofy nicknames and everything? Big Dog, I'm sick of Cody versus anybody. We can talk about that in a minute. As I got about 2 minutes before SmackDown kicks off, as I got the system confronting Cardona backstage. Bradley's warning MDB. Scott just got hopped on here and see KJ. Damn, you got a sunburn. Great to see Mr. TNA Anthony.
A long sunburn. KJ, that means KJ was out there for weeks at this point.
Right. Especially in Canada, my guy. Especially.
Exactly.
Guardian, let's not skip this. Isn't our truth. This is OG TNA Raw on the Truth Killings, who told Steamboat what he thought about how he was treated in WWE. So should you be standing on business? Should you be backing your TNA guy if this is Raw on the Truth Killings instead of our truth?
I haven't seen his TNA run, so
for shame.
You know, I'm sticking to my guns of I still don't care.
Right. Well, MDB and you are agreeing of don't let the internet influence you. So there you go. We got
that's true, but I won't let you influence me either. So you know, you can take that last sentence out.
The enemy of my enemy is still my enemy, apparently, with Anthony. Kyle, what up? Do you have any theories who takes the title from John Cena, Nick, and Anthony? Yeah, I think I kind of went over one. I'm kind of sick of, again, I keep bringing it up. I'm sick of John versus Cody at this point. It'll be going into, let's see, WrestleMania. So it's been at least 2 to 3 months almost at this point already of this feud. And it's been traded back and forth. They've already had 2 matches. So I don't need to see a third at SummerSlam. Yeah. Do you have a name of who's the one that takes the title off of John?
I thought it was going to be CM Punk. That's kind of what I was hoping for.
Until Saudi, until
they were like, we're going to have this match at Night of Champions. And I was like, so we're having this match like 4 months ahead of schedule in my mind.
Right.
I wasn't upset. It was just like, I thought CM Punk was going to be that guy.
Fair enough. I agree with you. I'm trying to sync up with you, my guy. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm trying to sync up. I'm together.
I have together too.
Okay, I was trying to come together now. So I was trying to let you get your point, but I was like, the show is happening.
I have the overview of the city.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yes, there we go. Yep. So cool. Yeah, cool. No, and I agree with you. That's a bit why I disagree with this match happening in Saudi Arabia, because I already know the outcome at that point. They're not giving the belt to CM Punk. off of John Cena in Saudi Arabia.
Right. No, that's agreeable. I that's definitely not happening at Saudi. I just feel like CM Punk was that guy, but it seems like he's not at this point.
Oh, but who is that guy? That is 1996 Brendan over there on Twitch. I think we're still around 80 or so followers on Twitch. Let's see if we can reach triple digits out there. We even got TikToks and everything. Speaking of TikTok, go check out Anthony on TikToks. The man's doing true crime TikToks too as well now and everything. So yes.
I'm dipping my toe into true crime a little bit.
We're gonna have Detective Anthony on the scene on the cases of everything going on right now. Yeah, I can't beat this man in court now, especially if he's out there trying to get his law degree, being a detective and everything. He's gonna have all the evidence,
trying to solve some of these, crimes that haven't been solved before.
Right? He's gonna crack the code, folks. But I got half the bloodline showing up, a blood droplet, if you will.
A blood droplet.
But Sean Reed, I see you. What is up? Hashtag WFU fan. Man, I really hope our OTC comes back soon. I'm gonna try and get through more of these comments, and I think that we could see another Samoan tonight that we thought we were gonna see last week. But Damien, what up? Dawn, again, mea culpa to anybody if I missed you and everything. We do have the super chat. Speaking of the super chats, Jose, I see you. Spaz with a $10 super chat. Happy Men's Mental Health Month, Brain Health and Migraine Awareness Month, and Friday, my guys. Sticky Nicky, Antonio, and the Hizzy for Shizzy. Lots of stuff on my channel this week. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, and speaking of men's mental health, we will be here on the 29th doing a whole stream just talking about men's mental health and everything. Feels very poignant, clearly. It's very, it's kind of the backbone a bit of almost the channel and everything. And taking a step away from some wrestling and talking about some other things ain't a bad thing.
Absolutely. Ditto everything that Nick just said.
I don't know if you there you go, but I don't know if you want to ditto this, but MDB calling you Crispy KJ. But
I think do you have LA Knight just to make sure? Actually a replay of Raw.
Yeah, now. I got replay of Raw right now, as I got the Hardys taking on the True North, the Northern Armory right now. Roddy said Eli Drake, yeah. He might end up on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, it probably suit him better. Yeah.
Right, which I feel like it would definitely suit him better if he's moved to Monday Night Raw.
It's just SmackDown's a bit become top loaded. And granted, Monday Night Raw is top loaded, but it's a finite point of there is it's really kind of focal on a couple people, I would say.
Right, yeah. SmackDown for it to be a 3-hour show still feels like a 2-hour show at times with the amount of superstars they don't use. And I feel like LA Knight is one of them where I think he would just feel better on Raw. It'd be a different feel.
Sometimes you just need a little bit of a refresh, and you get LA Knight out there on Netflix. It kind of gives a little bit of lifeblood to it.
Right, just a tad bit.
So LA Knight cutting a promo as again we got a tag match on TNA, which again, not to fully back the gimmick even harder, folks, but we're out here watching wrestling shows that are from the future, wrestling shows that even happened yet. We cover so much wrestling that we're watching wrestling shows that even happened yet, because that's the thing though too. I feel with this TNA show, there is no video on demand. You cannot watch a replay. If you missed this live viewing of it, you gotta wait till next Thursday to watch it.
Right. We're all Raven Baxter right now, and we can see into the future. So, in
the future, I can see that's so Raven. I don't want to be Corey, though. I don't want to be Corey.
No, you don't want to be Corey, even though I've been called Corey so many times in my life. So,
I didn't mean to do that.
So LA Knight is cutting a promo here. I have it down low, so I can't really hear what he's saying. Nick, can you enlighten us here?
He's calling somebody out right now. I'm trying to figure out who he's exactly calling out. Gentlemen, Paul Heyman coming out, though.
Paul Heyman.
I'm not sure exactly who he called out, but I got Paul Heyman answering the bell.
Interesting.
Right. Philip, what up? Al Snow. Nemesis, I see you, but
What's
why
up,
you gotta
Phil?
be that way? Heyman. Is this an issue that Seth and Co might run into of they are so over that you can change the music. You can't change the crowd popping for Heyman. You can't change the crowd popping for Braun Breaker barking and you know the sirens that they got to change racist music for to avoid issues and confusions of that they're so over they don't technically work as a heel because the crowd pops for everything they do.
No, true. It seems like ever since the group has been formed after WrestleMania, I think maybe one time I may have heard the crowd boo for Seth Rollins and the whole new faction that doesn't have a name yet. So it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you change about this group. Just like you said, people are still going to love Seth Rollins. People are still going to love, Braun Breaker. And nothing's going to change the crowd reaction unless Seth does something treacherous in this heel run to where it's okay, maybe we can't side with Seth Rollins.
But does he cash in on a R-Truth? Does he cash in on a Sami Zayn of I took your hero and killed him in front of you?
Sami Zayn would be a really good choice to cash in on. If we're keeping it on, let's just theorize this and say we're keeping this on Raw and it doesn't move over to SmackDown with this group, even though they've been appearing on both shows. If you're going to do this on Raw, having Sami Zayn win, at SummerSlam, if he wins this tournament and then immediately cash in on after the hero moment, I could see a turn from the crowd there a little bit.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get to that as we got a huge CM Punk chant right now.
Yeah.
Paul is he has head, shoulders, knees, and toes. He might have to jump to reach those shoulders and heads, but yeah, above everybody else.
Absolutely.
Hey, as he said, I'm the biggest LA Knight fan. Does he try and recruit LA? There's been the alleged Ethan Page. There's been the alleged Ricky Saints. It's been talked about, speculated about it if they bring somebody into the fold. Could he be a guy that you pivot him of this ain't working anymore, of it's run its course? You make him then you have so many guys that would be good on the mic. Seth, Paul, and LA all together.
So basically completely changing LA Knight. That would
Eli Drake.
To get the fans riled up. I would like to see if they did that because the fans love LA Knight so much. Do a complete 180 with him and see how this works out in his favor. I wouldn't mind that.
It'd be interesting. What do you think's going to happen to you by the end of this night? And that's the thing, is what makes Heyman so scary is it's the same thing when he had Roman in the Bloodline in his pocket. You're in for a long night if you cross his path. So you're kind of already got to kind of question, do I side with him just so I don't have to deal with this?
It's kind of one of those you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. As I got Leon Slater with the Hardys after the Hardys pick up the win on TNA, but LA Knight cut the promo back at Heyman. You're a scammer, you're a schemer, you're a grifter.
I like that.
You leech on to any bit of talent that's got a little bit of hype. No, that's Chris Jericho, LA. I know you got the shades on inside, but he's a lot taller and blonder and somehow still more bloated. Crowd does sing-alongs and boos. Yeah, but it's very much like what again, that's the Chris Jericho of Judas in my mind, boo. I'm gonna become boo. Yeah, if you still sing. Paul was the Walrus. Yo, Anthony, wouldn't it be fabulous if Athena cost Mercedes a title? Oh, we're gonna talk about that in the commercial. We're gonna talk about all that situation.
Frankie, can you go ahead and just book All In then? Just take it over. Let that happen. I want it to happen.
We got some things we need to talk about when it comes to Athena and All In, my guy. So yes. Ken, what up? Javon Evans or Leon Slater? I'll let you decide that as I click on through to the other sides. Who would you take, Javon Evans or Leon Slater?
Oh, easily Leon Slater. I feel like Leon Slater is all around better than Javon Evans. Mike, in-ring work, presence. I think Leon Slater has it all.
Huh? Yeah. No, yeah. It is. That's why it's such a good question, because it's literally, you can make a case either way with them. It's 1A and 1B type vibe.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Javon's been in the ring with Randy Orton and everything. Javon's been highlighted in some really top spots in a much bigger stage, I would feel. As it looks like LA Knight's gearing up for a fight, turns his back to Heyman as Heyman rolls out. And we're getting a street fight still to come.
Right. Or Heyman standing there with like a sly look on his face, too.
Remember what I told you? Something really bad is going to happen to you.
Hell out of Grand Rapids.
That wasn't a prediction. That was a spoiler. Flips the mic. I'm waiting for like Braun. Oh, both.
There goes Bronson.
Braun and Braun security. I was right. I just said Braun twice, so I somehow got it right. But yeah, Braun and Braun security coming out. So we about to just either set up a beatdown by the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, or does someone come out and help LA Knight and we get a tag match?
I feel like someone comes out. Who is that someone, though?
True. Deshaun Wells, WWE planning to move LA Knight to Raw, bringing Psycho Clown to main roster. Thinking of adding Ethan Page to Ricky Saints, or Ethan Page or Ricky Saints Success Faction. Looking for AAA TV deal. I haven't heard that one, but I mean, Psycho Clown showing up is kind of the same, I feel, as like, you know, Mr. Iguana's can pop off. But yeah,
everyone loved, you know, the Iguana. I thought it was pretty cool too myself, but a lot of people loved Iguana. So I guess the second person to come out to help LA Knight was the chair, because no one came for LA Knight.
Yeah, that's weird, because you have these two giant fucking killers that are just beast unto themselves. This is, you know, evolution. It feels, I mean, granted, you'd probably see it a time or two of like to where John Cena would beat away, you know, Randy Orton and Batista before Triple H shows up. But yeah, this is been interesting. So are we going to get LA Knight jumped and kind of written off TV a bit later tonight?
If you're gearing a move to Raw, that would be, you know, a plan. You can kind of take him out for a minute, not long, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, somewhere around there. And then you kind of move him over to Raw, you know, and he gets that big Raw pop. You know,
well, we won't get the draft until September, allegedly. So
allegedly, even if we have it, I at this point I don't even see it actually being happening.
Fair enough. I don't see SmackDown going to 2 hours truly happening for longer than the 4th of July. I think it'll just be a one-off because it's going to be a tape show, and I think we're going to be right back to 3 hours because I haven't seen anything that says it's going to be 2 hours past that. So
exactly. The only thing I saw was something about potentially in September, but you know, we heard it was going to be May, and that never happened. So
well, Spaz bringing it with a $5 super chat. You haven't talked about, since you've been out there getting your law degree, being Mr. Detective, and we haven't had a court in a while. How do you feel about? Pretty sure there's no violent criminals main eventing WWE PLEs in the year of Al Bundy 2025. Tony, your move. So, cameraman gets the old shove and tells Moxley 2 years later, "I want my money and I need it now."
oh, so I don't know much about it. I do my best to I try to do my best to kind of stay away from like stuff like that. But I did see the clip, and he looked like he got pushed pretty hard. I can't speak about his injuries. I question the 2-year wait. I always question that with a lot of things, not that's wrestling related, but other things that come out, with celebrities or just in the news in general. Like
Why you wait so long?
Right? What unless you were just unable to get it done in a timely manner, why wait so long? The waiting so long for me is always why I kind of like, is this true or not? I always question it, right? Because it's like 2 years. What were you doing in those 2 years that you couldn't file the lawsuit or reach out to AEW? What was happening? That's kind of my thing.
Absolutely, my guy. I like this from Big Doug. I just saved hundreds on my car insurance by switching to Iguana. Why? Well, folks, you can save 100 on your mental IQs and everything. You can save hundreds of brain cells by unsubscribing to those other wrestling channels and those other wrestling podcasters and streamers and everything like that. And make sure you hit that subscribe over here. Don't pay attention to the dirt sheets, the spitefuls, the old tuna meltzers that's, past his expiration date and everything like that. Be a friend, tell a friend. Spread the good gospel of wrestling out there. And again, save a friend, tell a friend, all of that. You can save all them brain cells out there. Like Big Dog saying he saved hundreds of on his car insurance. If he didn't go with the Gecko, he didn't go with a Geico. He went with an Iguana.
I like that. I actually like that quote. That's nice.
All right, the Big Dog there. You get a star tonight. You get a star from Anthony. Funny how the Panthers damaged the cup. Have they done so? I saw the video of one of the Panthers players going on his neighbor's ring camera at like the wee hours of the morning just to celebrate of, hey, I won the Stanley Cup of like, imagine 2:00 in the morning. Someone, you're in this hoity-toity highbrow, probably gated community, and someone is ringing your doorbell and setting off your ring camera because they just won the Stanley Cup is at your front door.
That's a thing that actually happened?
That happened. That is, again, the Florida Panthers. How fitting to have hockey players are unhinged as it is. KJ and anyone else that's played hockey can attest to this. Yes, it was Barkov. Yes, so see, even Jose agreed. The Panthers were at 11 last night, but it very much happened. Hockey players are already unhinged. And now you add in the fact that you add Florida into the equation. You have double unhinged.
Yeah, because Florida is unhinged anyway. Anytime you Google Florida man, something behind that subject is even more crazier. That's wild that you actually show up at somebody's house,
I think it's halfway awesome, but at the same time, it's like, what is hoity-toity out there thinking of? Probably has no idea what a Stanley Cup is. And
exactly, because if you
try that, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you tried that in Atlanta, your body would be found somewhere in the woods. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. I was gonna try and not offend all of our Florida, fans and everything, and even still, though, say, I know Florida's called the Panhandle. It looks more like a crack pipe to me. Yeah. Smoking that rock as we're up next. Got the street fight, and we've got Bronson Reed taking on LA Knight, now set up from all this as Heyman whispering words of wisdom.
Oh, and now we got the semifinals for the Queen of the Ring. We got Alexa Bliss coming out.
Right. So
It should be
folks,
fun.
let us know who you're taking for this match. We've got one half of the semifinals for Queen of the Ring taking off right now. We've got Alexa Bliss taking on newly returned Asuka, kind of more Kana vibe. But yes, we've got spooky on spooky action.
Right. A lot of spooky action. I'm glad.
One's got a doll, one's got a mask. Who wins?
Right. I'm glad Alexa Bliss is finally back. You know, it felt like it was forever. It was like 2 years that she was gone, it felt like.
Does she still go Wyatt's, or does she just stay Wyatt adjacent?
I think she just stays Wyatt adjacent. It seems like they're kind of. I thought they were going to heavily do it when she first returned, and it seems like they're not, and they're pushing whatever story they're trying to with Charlotte and her. I honestly would rather see her outside of the Wyatts by herself.
Fair enough. No, I respect that 100%. I'm actually probably a bit more in agreement with you of maybe Bo's injury played a part in it, of the Wyatts having to be sidelined for a bit, kind of lost its momentum. It didn't align properly. Yeah. Does the rumored Trish Stratus get involved in here and set up potentially Trish versus Alexa, and Charlotte's now even double mad because you took the match I wanted? Yeah, I wanted to play with Trish. You got to play with Trish.
If they run the Trish and Alexa storyline, I'm here for it. Let Trish Stratus be the one to come out. I'm here for that. I'm definitely here for that.
Right. But again, so we got two bangers of matches back to back, Jack, as we got shout out AJ Francis in the Seattle Seahawks attire. Man's is fresh, I will admit. I know I'm a Bills fan. I know we're both Bills fans and everything. Yeah. But the Seahawks are the secondary team, and that man's got the secondary, the alt logo attire, and it's mwah.
He's looking like a big lime green human right now.
he put the lime in the coconut. He's the citrus in a Sprite. But we got the street fight between Mike Santana and AJ Francis kicking off, and we've also got Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. And Alexa or Asuka, it's only match back number 2. Does she have to win? Again, I know KJ always it's the anti-Vince stuff now. Before it was, if it's your birthday, if it's your hometown, you lose. Now it's if you came back, you just came back, unless you're Kyrie and someone gets injured, you win.
Yeah, I don't see it as a must win for Asuka just because she's back. I do see Asuka winning, but we're in the day and age of Triple H where anything can happen, anything spontaneous can happen, and I do kind of like that a little bit. So, keep us on our toes a little bit, like, keep us guessing.
Right. Well, MDB, yes, no polls tonight. Only the Canadian maple tapper there, KJ, can get the polls going. Pause. Yeah, we're halfway dependent on the Canadian. We're America, true and true. We're dependent on the Canadians. Yes. No polls, but let us know in the chat, folks, who you got in either match or both matches. Absolutely. When's the next predictions? Title defense should be Night of Champions this coming weekend.
Right. I think it definitely is Night of Champions. And to answer your question, I'm taking Asuka in this match, and in the street fight, I'm taking Mike Santana.
Fair enough. I agree with you on all that, but I also think this is hilarious. Of Jose, big substitute teacher vibes, MDB. He's okay. Listen, who didn't always pop when when the substitute teacher would reel in the TV on the fucking rolling cart and you get to watch Bill Nye the Science Guy or Magic School Bus or something like that?
I mean, it was always a good time.
This Anthony's the substitute teacher wheeling in TNA right now. Everybody watch TNA.
And if you went to a private school like me, when they wheeled in the TV, you would get VeggieTales sometimes too. So,
Oh, we didn't have that good book learning up in upstate New York. We didn't have none of that good book learning. You had tablets. You say you had more than one book. You say you could be having someone who had signed their name in the book that you're reading out of that's still in the class with you because they didn't make it out of that grade yet and everything.
That's true. That's true.
Joe Bubble class of 2026. Joe, you still in this class with me? What are you doing? As I got Santana setting up a table, we got a commercial break on Friday Night Smackdown. Yes, I am very much rolling in the TV, rolling on a river. Now, do you want Rugrats? Do you want, Zubumafu, I guess, for private schools or anything? Do you want Magic School Bus, Bill Nye the Science Guy? Or what was the show with the little dog that would take you through the museums and everything? Or am I misremembering? I'm very much in the 90s.
The dog that
out there vibes.
I don't know.
No, we're all good. We could just Arthur it when you come in down the street with each other. Yeah.
Or Dragon Tales. We're taking it way
Whoa,
back.
I know. No. I never had that, my guy. No, Dragon Tales was childish. That's when you said Veggie Tales. That was probably just before my time, my guy. Larry, Nick, will Bliss cousin passing affect the outcome of this match? I did not know her cousin passed, but if it did, tease and please.
Yeah, she did. She passed away this week. I think it was from cancer. I think, I'm not sure, but I do know she did pass away.
Oh, Dawn saying Blue's Clues. I'm fucking terrible transitioning with this, but Blue's Clues, and then see Lady B. You always got me. You got my back. You just always managed to show up at the perfect time here. Not borrowing the AV Club TV, watching Wishbone. That's what it was. Wishbone.
Wishbone.
And are you probably far too old to even remember where there was an AV Club or anything? Did you have actual projectors to where you had to have the little laminate sheet thing?
Oh yeah.
Dry erase.
I didn't go to the expensive private schools. I was still using Windows 98 in school when it was like 2004. So,
you had a Windows. We just had those for looking through.
So yeah, we had the projectors where you had to put the paper on to, we had that.
Fair enough. Guardian, Busy World of Rich and Scary was my jam growing up. I am not familiar. Where was it? Oh, I see you, Frankie. Got that one. The teacher would sometimes play Jerry Springer. What the fuck? What school did you go to? See, Jose, wait, you had computers?
What about like Alexa got the upper hand at the moment right here?
Right. We should probably talk about the matches and everything. I'm not out here watching Rin Tin Tin, my guy. We had Oregon Trail and Apple. I played Oregon Trail with the floppy disk and everything. Pause. But Capone, Asuka wins with Flair interference on Alexa.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
1, 2 count from Asuka. As we literally, this is again, I know I like it, but I'm also gonna call it out on it of why, if what we were getting on this show from TNA on a Friday was on a Thursday, oh my god, I want to see more of this because I know it's in the weekly time slot.
Right.
Now I'm twisted.
It's the fact that I have to go back and watch this match. It's the fact that I can't go back and watch this street fight until like next Thursday. I'll figure out a way to watch it online somehow. I have my ways.
Man's got the president of Anthem Sports in his fucking, DMs and everything. Man's already got the files downloaded. As Santana pressed against the steps, is Asuka climbing to the top rope. Can't believe it's been 7 years since Alexa's been champ. Damn.
It's been so long. I think she was last singles champ in 2018.
1, 2 go.
Ooh, that was close.
Well, and again, whoever wins this advances to face the winner of Jade and Io Sky. So, like you said, you think that they're going to do Asuka versus Io at Night of Champions. Would they do an Asuka Jade? Would they do an Alexa Io? Would they do an Alexa Jade? Which other outcome is the most likely? I think Asuka Jade.
I think Asuka could put on a better match with Jade than Alexa.
On one hand, I see it, but now I'm also taking into consideration how little Alexa is. So she would just get thrown around by Jade.
Right. She would just be thrown around like a rag doll.
Asuka versus Jade is powerhouse v powerhouse.
In a way, yes.
Armbar.
Armbar's locked in the middle of the ring.
Oh,
Alexa fights. Wait,
Kimura. Oh, that is a Kimura and a shoulder lock from Asuka on Alexa. And I know that. Oh, slides it into a pin. Little Nate. 1, 2, goes. As I say, I know Alexa, isn't she like quadruple jointed or some shit like that and everything?
Something like that, because she does some type of move with her arm.
Right.
Or she like could dislocate it or something. It's definitely weird.
AJ Francis having to take a rest spot during the middle of his match, literally sitting down in a chair in the center of the ring.
He's saying something to Mike Santana too.
Right.
They're screaming at him.
Big elbow from Santana as Spaz with a $10 super chat is, yeah, I just got the SmackDown audio. Trio, whoa. Shotgun drop kicked Asuka. Trio, whoa. Spaz with $10 super. Oops, sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying nice by Alexa, as it looks like she may be going up to the top for Twisted Bliss.
Oh, knees up.
What? Is she going for a running hip attack?
I know it's difficult to say as a Buffalo Bills fan, but that was a bit wide right. The Twisted Bliss to me was still halfway of, you could kind of see she was going into the knees because you weren't fully trying to execute the move. It's always, to me, the top rope nothings of what were you going to successfully hit if that landed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the hip attack, it's right decision, cloudy, dusty finish of the hip attack to me was far to the right of it. It was a glancing blow at best.
Yeah, it was just like a gliding hip attack. It wasn't all the way there. As Asuka takes the win and advances in the Night of Champions tournament.
Yo, I kind of like this idea. Jade, B-Fab, and Mission. I kind of like that.
As like a
as a trio, as a friends, whatever. But yeah, we need some more. We're still debating and questioning of if the women's tag division is on life support or not. So having some more pairing in the women's division is not a bad thing ever to me.
That's true. I did read something before we went live here about the tag team titles. I don't know how true it is, but I think they said they weren't going to do away with them or strip them away from, Liv.
Yes, they won't be stripped. They will be incinerated. They will go to the
Liv and Raquel. So I don't know what they're going to do.
If they're not going to do that, then they go Raquel and Roxanne.
That could be a plan. They could kind of do the same thing that they ran through with Naomi and Bianca, where Naomi had to win that match to become the tag team champion. So they could kind of run with that too.
They have looked into, on one hand, the story was already so good that they can backslide into a decent story already of Roxanne just basically does what Liv did to Rhea, and now she can just slide in as tag champ. It gives even more credence to Liv, feeling kind of torn and everything and being, jaded and all of that. I hate to do the pun, but she comes in back as a babyface because Roxanne just took everything from her like she did with Rhea.
True. And, that's something they could run back. Not sure if, the fans will want to see it again. But, I mean, it's definitely something they can play with because they're already playing with the dissension between Roxanne and Liv Morgan. And she just kind of steps right in and takes Liv Morgan's spot.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably eventually get to that. But we eventually are getting to the Super Chats pass of Want to Talk Old School. We had the small black and white Max. We set one on fire. Literally, why did you set it on fire versus it burst into fire? You're incriminating yourself, sir. By trying to install Windows 2000. The message said not enough free memory to shut down. Too tired to sleep. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired.
I mean, we had the old floppy disk, so
You had the floppies. Pause.
The floppy disk.
Have to do the Excel spreadsheets and all that. I played Lemonade Stand in a computer lab as a kid besides Oregon Trail. Anyone else have gizmos and gadgets?
Gizmos and gadgets? Is that a game?
Yes, it was a game when we had computer class because yes, they still tried to. It was still new enough that we had to have classes to learn the computer because it was new technology. Yeah, it was gizmos and gadgets. You have to kind of build shit and still solve like equations or whatever. Like you'd still get educated, but you would still build of like a BMX bike or something like that. It was like Tony Hawk met education.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember that at all.
We're out here.
I do remember the Oregon Trail, though. I remember that.
Veggie Tales. So sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. What you were saying?
No, you're fine. All I was saying was I do remember the Oregon Trail. I remember that.
Everyone's died dysentery. Terry, you can't just diss this man at all. He's got the most street cred out there because everyone's died from dysentery.
Right? Oh, we got Mike Santana and Francis on the apron right here. Looks like Mike Santana's about to go for a big move through the table.
Right.
Yeah. AJ Francis through 2 tables.
Ooh. Now, with a man that big, does it feel like 1 table or does it still feel like 2?
Probably still feels like 2. because his legs went through the second table.
Showing up. Trick a day late and $1 short. You wait until this man's already gone through tables, and now Joe Hendry.
Right.
And
there goes Joe Hendry.
Right. Are you behind on TNA?
Maybe a little bit behind.
I got Trick and Joe fighting off Santana rolling AJ into the ring. Jose saying, does Cross help Sami win? All right. I'm gonna get into all of this of the Cross thing. I still think is super interesting. I don't know if Sami's a guy at this point you can corrupt. I think I've always said he stays the moral compass. I wish I had more Cross on my television screen. That's obvious. I really like the idea of we get Jay versus Sami in the finals for this, and Sami wins, and it gets into that, I love you, no, I love you, because again, I'm tired of Cody, because the only other way is what? Cody versus Sami, then Sami just jobs to Cody, or we get Cody versus Orton, and Orton's already had his last match with Cena. So I like the new, fresh story, the still brother story of Sami and Jay. Sami gets there. He has his match with Gunther, and he beats the pissed hard out of him. But somehow Sami does it. He wins. He wins one. The underdog from the underground picks up a win. And again, that's where you get a Seth shows up, stomps his head in. Everybody hates him now because the beloved hero, the guy that is the moral compass in the situation, the guy that is always at least on the right side, on the side of morality, just got his head caved in the second he achieved what he wanted to achieve.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about it earlier. I think that's something that could happen. I would rather see Sami win other than Jay. So Sami is not going to be, if he is world champion, he's not going to be world champion long. And if you do it, you can do it with Seth Rollins cashing in.
Fair enough. And so, no way. Oh, yeah. So we're getting Malachi Black. Hold on.
We got Mike Santana with the win in this street fight
after just busting on a beer bottle. I for halfway second thought Malachi was coming out with a fucking beanie on. No, he's got his hood up, but I was like, he's coming out looking like he could give less of a fuck about this. But we're getting Malachi Black taking on Kit Wilson. Has Malachi Black just become another guy on the roster?
I'm gonna say too early to call. I some of the matches that he's had since he has came back have been fun. But I'm gonna say too early to call just yet. Oh,
Kit Wilson jumped by R-Truth into the fucking ring post and everything. How do we fucking get here? Where do we go? What am I after? So R-Truth looking like Jeepers Creepers. Let's be honest. He looks like the villain from Jeepers Creepers.
And he's calling for a mic too.
Right? Get John Cena out here. This is Raw on the Truth Killings. This is no more. What's up, little Jimmy? R-Truth.
Oh, he's calling out Cena now.
Does this hurt though, Malachi? Have you got him coming out and then in the middle of this, it's just like fuck your match?
I don't. R-Truth got what he wanted with the match, so why do we need to interrupt this one? I don't know.
Yeah, this is a little just all right. Just why do we need to have fuck your match here with this? As Jamie Nobles try to calm down R-Truth. Ooh, the anger sharks are swimming in my brain. Spaz, Tony asked your doc about the butcher. Yeah. Well, for Kit Wilson, day late and $1 short. There ain't even a match to be had.
This match is not happening at all.
Oh, you watch what they're gonna do of post. If Ron loses tonight and we just drop the whole John Cena thing after tonight, we're setting up Ron versus Malachi, I guess would be the best case scenario out of this.
That's true. That's a fallback a little bit. That's definitely a fallback. As I'm going to switch here because TNA just went off air with Mike Santana screaming in the mic that he wants to face Joe Hendry and Trick Williams at Slammiversary. Which I think that would be fun in a triple threat match.
Is that your best case, Ontario, of that you get all three of them in a match together and everything? Because theoretically, Joe Hendry doesn't have to take an L to lose the match, this, that, and the third. And it gets interesting of which direction you could go, because Santana's kind of felt like he's going to be the guy. Joe Hendry lately has been the guy until Trick beat him. So it's a nice little caveat.
I feel like you go the way of hopefully Santana. I feel
I agree with that fully. Yeah. I agree with that fully. Santana should be TNA champion.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I think we got a replay of Raw and Mr. Goldberg coming out.
Yeah, and the man that still on one hand says he can do better than 99% of the roster, but also wasn't expecting to be out here having his last match at 58 years old. And it's just a whole lot of what the fuck with this, of just Gunther better not have this match go longer than like 5 minutes. I know I've said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was literally going to just go into the whole Shannon Sharp of, this rhyme, that rhyme, Lakers in 5. But yeah, what were you saying, sir?
Yeah, this doesn't need to be a long match. Has Goldberg ever done a long match in his career? Right? I don't think he has.
Well, yes, but not within this decade. This, I dare say, millennia. At least this decade. I think I saw a list going around somewhere to where the longest match that Goldberg's had, at least in like the last decade to 5 years, was 11 minutes, and it was against Bobby Lashley. So everything else has been 10 and under. So yeah, and people were praising him. Shout out to Bobby Lashley for making Goldberg work. This man's notorious for 30-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute matches.
True. Yeah. Bobby Lashley did make Goldberg work. But they need to wrap this up. I'm glad this is his last match. We can move on from this after.
But nobody wanted this besides
Goldberg.
I've said this of no one wants this. No one's excited. No one. MDB, I know, has already probably got fucking 3 comments in of I'm excited. You and you alone, I feel. And I was a Goldberg mark. I had the VHS to his whole run. I had the fake plastic title with Goldberg on it to where you could press the button and it would play his entrance music and everything. Dun, dun, dun. You hear that, you pop. But his knees are held together by hopes and prayers. Of he wasn't having good matches 5 years ago. At minimum. So why do we expect all of a sudden he's going to be a world beater 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not excited for it.
I'm not expecting him to be like the world beater, but me putting that expectation on him, it just means that someone will leave the match and not be injured. Like, he is a walking hazard at this point.
Right. A big walking hazard after what he did, almost did to the Undertaker at what was the Crown Jewel.
Yes,
that was that was scary. That was scary.
And that's the thing is that was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
that's the thing is this time beats us all. But pause. If it's going to be just a thing of you just massacre a hero in Atlanta and you're hoping that you get a casual buzz because Goldberg and some people who aren't regular wrestling fans know Goldberg, okay, but I think you've put the cart before the horse with that. You've insulted your regular viewers to try and gain 10 casual viewers.
Right. I think all of this is just, I don't know. I've had so many opinions about it. I haven't really talked about it with anybody. I was going to Saturday Night Main Event. I'll say that. I was going to Saturday Night Main Event until they announced this match. And I was like, not going to waste my time and money to go to Saturday Night Main Event for this. It's not interesting to me at all. And at this point, all of the past Saturday Night Main Events anyway, to me, are just a glorified SmackDown or Raw. It doesn't do anything for anyone.
Well, they are supposed to be special events. They're basically glorified house shows and everything. They are not a PLE or a huge deciding factor. Like, I'm not expecting groundbreaking moments to happen there.
I mean, you can have a surprise or two every now and then. We've had 4 of these shows, and it's like, I feel like we're wasting our time. I'll rephrase that. I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Well, you were about to purchase tickets. I have not been anywhere in the scope of purchasing tickets or anything like that here. So yeah, you were different perspectives, I will say on that.
Yeah.
But not different perspectives of Chair saying nobody wants Goldberg. WCW knew how to book Goldberg. Yeah, well, fucking 10 or 20 years ago at minimum. Yeah, I think anyone could have probably figured that out. But Are you sure it's Goldberg's last match? Unless he faces Ric Flair.
Oh no.
No, Berg. That'll be a
Flair.
cardiac killer, my guys and gals. Ariel, what's up? What's up?
What's up?
No, Berg, but I'm gonna go take an aerial break, I guess is the best way I can pivot to this, but I'm gonna be back on a pause for the cause. So you do you, boo-boo.
Sounds good. As Nick takes a pause and you guys are stuck with me for a moment, as SmackDown is coming back from commercial. We just had the ending of TNA's live episode, which will air again next Thursday. But I think we still got a few things on the card tonight for SmackDown that was announced. We have the speculation of Trish Stratus. We still got this match between Randy Orton and Sami Zayn. That this is a semifinals match. And then we had Alexa Bliss versus Asuka, which Asuka has advanced. So Asuka will face either Jade Cargill or I think it's Roxanne Perez in the finals next Saturday at Night of Champions. And then we still got this match tonight. We got Ron Killings, R-Truth versus John Cena, which I'm assuming probably is kind of the main event. But I'm gonna just put it back on the SmackDown logo because I don't know what's next on the card. We got R-Truth in a backstage segment screaming that he wants John Cena right now. Oh, he said when he sees Cena, he's going to basically kill him tonight. So I think we are setting up something with now Damian Priest is involved, but I think we are setting up something with R-Truth and Aleister Black. And Damian Priest said, let me talk to R-Truth because he's going through a lot right now. Jose says R-Truth wants to waste all of Cena's appearances. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like every week R-Truth is coming out to attack John Cena for some reason. I like Joe's comment up here saying it's great to see Jamie Noble on screen again. Absolutely. So Damian Priest is saying, go out and get your win against Cena tonight, and then we'll go out on a town and celebrate. So R-Truth just needs to calm down a bit. He'll get to his match with Cena later on tonight. But I guess this is a new R-Truth, so he's fired up, basically. Someone in the chat earlier, and if I can find the comment, I'll come back to you, Frankie. Someone asked me about King of the Mountain returning in TNA. Not sure. I thought that was the plan for Slammiversary, but it seems like they may be doing a triple threat match for the title at Slammiversary. They did just announce LA Knight versus Bronson Reed for in a singles match tonight, and Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green. Now that's kind of fun. Now Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green, that might be a pretty good match. But Frankie down here says we can also go with Willow because she's technically has a win over her. I think you're talking about Mercedes Moné. Willow has Willow does have a win over Mercedes Moné at that New Japan show where Mercedes got injured. So absolutely, you are right there. As we have Cody Rhodes coming out. First hour, we got Cody Rhodes coming out. Al Snow says, I don't think LA can beat Bronson. We'll see. I'm not the biggest fan of Bronson Reed. I've said that a couple of times on here. So I hope LA Knight can beat Bronson Reed. John C says Ron Killings is driving and I'm enjoying the ride. I mean, our truth is carving his own path in this. I don't know if it's a last run for him in WWE, but our truth is carving his own path right now. Cody Rhodes is looking at the King of the Ring crown right there. Boston says they don't let Chelsea fight to her true abilities in WWE. Lucha Underground, Chelsea in ring is far superior. If I watched the Chelsea Green versus Penta match in Lucha Underground, that was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. I'll just say best intergender match I've ever seen. Chelsea Green in TNA is unmatched as well. She's had some banger matches with Mickie James. I tell anybody, if you want to see Chelsea Green wrestle, watch any match she's had with Mickie James in TNA and you won't be disappointed. I believe she's faced Jordynne Grace on an episode of Impact back in 2022. And Chelsea and Jordynne Grace tore the house down. Best match of that episode of TNA Impact. And I've watched all of Impact from 2022. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. That was the best match on the card. But Cody Rhodes is calling for a mic here. So let's see what Cody Rhodes is about to say. As Ronan says, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody looking around, so I'm assuming Cody is probably going to talk about Cena, probably going to talk about the King of the Ring tournament. See what he has to say here. I like C Money's comment. This is funny. Wrestling has more than one. Yes. that needs to be taglined. Now we got Jey Uso. Now we got Jey Uso. He's coming out as well. So and he's great. Yeah, there goes Jey Uso coming out. As I'm gonna click through some more of these chats here. Jose, WWE wrestlers wrestles a safe style. They save the dangerous stuff for blow off matches. I think that's why people look like they're holding back sometimes. No, you're not wrong there. WWE definitely has a safer style of wrestling. I think that's very commonly known. Honestly, so not a bad take. I think that's actually pretty true. But we're gonna get Jey Uso here whenever he decides to stop yeeting and come into the ring. Cherokee says crap. Here comes Uso to mess up things. Bash, I am not alone tonight. Nick has taken his pause for the moment, so he'll return very, very shortly. Finally, Jey Uso is getting into the ring. Finally. Frankie down here says Kyrie saying I guess in Lucha Underground. Haven't gotten that far yet. But when I get there, I also heard, I may be wrong, but I thought Asuka might have been in Lucha Underground. Someone correct me there. But I do know Kyrie Sane was there. Yeah. I think I'll snow up here if I can get back to the chat as it keeps just rolling and rolling down. I saw Piper Niven playing a detective on a police crime show a few days ago. I need the name. Of that police crime show. I would actually like to see that. All right. We're finally getting Jey Uso. Like, this entrance has been 10 minutes on a random episode of SmackDown. So Big Nick has corrected me. It was Io, not Asuka. I knew it was one of them. I couldn't remember, but it was Io. Like I said, I haven't gotten that far yet. Big dog, this is kind of funny. It's just me, Usko. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, one way or another, we're gonna stop yeeting at one point. It's hard to do alternative commentary when all you're seeing is someone yeet for 25 minutes. But Boston, yes, we were watching Lucha Underground. We stopped. But Lucha Underground is definitely fun. Ronan says EO versus Penta. Yeah, that was the match I heard about. That was the match I heard about too. So that's another one I have to kind of go back and watch because I think that might be good, as everybody has said it has been good. Damien says, does Aleister Black accidentally I can't even talk. Does Aleister Black accidentally cost Truth his match versus Cena? I think so. If not, and we have a clean finish, we could have something brewing with them too later on. Down the line, that could be R-Truth's next stop after he finishes up with Cena. And we're going right back to the yeet. He's finally speaking after about 2 hours. That's wonderful. But yeah, I think that's the next thing. I think Aleister versus Truth may be the next thing. It seems like they're setting that up tonight, as Jey Uso has the mic now, basically saying that they've both been in the trenches, still in the trenches. So talking about finishing both of their stories at WrestleMania. So it's Cody versus Jey in the semifinals. I feel like Cody needs to take this, but we'll see. I'm with you, Boston. Boston says, do we really have to keep doing this? This product is close to unwatchable. It's been literally 7 minutes of wasted time with Jey. It was pretty long. It felt longer than 7 minutes. Who has the longest intro in the ring besides Uso? Well, I always say Taker. Taker takes his especially at WrestleMania. Taker has those 25-minute entrances, which I always love. But Taker or Roman is about 35 minutes too when he gets to the ring. There goes Sami Zayn, because I was about to say we went through 10 minutes of yeeting for Jey Uso to just say 4 letters, 1 word, yeet, and I'm gonna beat you on Monday. But here we go. We got Sami Zayn. We might have a little bit of interaction between these 3 gentlemen. Entrances are just part of pro wrestling now. Crowds love the interaction, and pro wrestling is the art of crowd interaction. Agreed. I don't mind a long entrance, but when we're running the entrance back, like we already took 7 minutes to get through the original entrance, and then we want to turn the music back on and go through it for another 3 minutes. Personally, me, I get annoyed, but to each his own, right? All right, let's hear what Sami Zayn has to say. As I think Nick is coming back right as Sami Zayn starts talking.
Right. Well, to each their own, and of course, running back intros and everything. Is this what I should do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Well, but yes. No, I really want Sami at least in the finals. I want him to win this, or even have the moment if it gets ripped away of he wins championships. Of if Cody wins this, and just clearly wins this, and we get Cody versus John at SummerSlam. Is it too soon? Is it, if Cody's going to be the guy to take the belt off him at the end, why are we doing this now? I don't need to see this 4, 5, 6 times before we get to the end.
Right. No, I really think it is Sami that's gonna win. I feel like they can go in a different direction with Cody. I feel like it has to be Sami. I could be wrong. But I feel like Sami wins this, and then I go with the theory of Seth cashing in after.
It makes the most sense, and again, they have the history. You can run that feud. You can have Seth taking on the big baby face in Sami Zayn and everything. I do really love everything that Sami's saying out here too. Of it's not just, oh well, he's the plucky under guy who hasn't been a baby or hasn't been on the top for a while. No, that's great. You finish your story. What about mine?
Right. And here comes Randy.
So we're getting pretty much the men's semifinals all in one promo here. Randy to me feels like the least likely outcome, because the last time ever all of that they had a backlash between John and Randy feels like that should be the last time they have a match, because that's what you called it. So like he's here just because he's the vet, he's a guy he's a star, but it's all baby faces in the semifinals. It is all baby faces.
That's true. No, I didn't even think about it. Not one of them are heels in this.
Not unless someone's going to turn.
Right.
Right. These 4 in the ring, star power. Absolutely. Make it a fatal 4-way, and they all face each other, and that's the deciding factor. That might be a better outcome than this tournament.
I think that this might be unpopular with the tournament. I feel like this tournament was kind of rushed a little bit. Last year, it felt like it had some sting and some build to it. We had like singles matches to get to the finals and things of that sort. I feel like this one was kind of rushed. I don't know. Maybe it's because the finals happened in May of last year, and then we had to kind of build to SummerSlam for the two, winners to face their respective champions at that time. But I feel like this one's just kind of rushed a little bit. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way.
It's a wee bit fast tracked. As John C is saying, Randy was screwed over kind of last year. You even had to put an asterisk on that fucking comment. So that tells me enough right there that you don't fully believe that. Like Randy had a really good last year. I wouldn't say he's screwed. The only thing that would have been an issue with what happened with Randy as far as booking wise last year was Kevin Owens getting hurt. Beyond that, Randy's been on fire. He's not going to be Evolution Randy Orton anymore.
Right. And he was in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament last year. He lost to Gunther. It was that controversy because he had his shoulder up. Right. And then I'm 99% sure, I just can't remember, they ran that match back when Gunther won the world title, if I'm not mistaken. So he's had a really good year last year. Say it again.
Wasn't that Berlin? I said, wasn't that Berlin?
I think so.
Randy versus Gunther.
Yeah. So he had a really decent year last year, honestly. And then he went into that feud with Kevin Owens, and the worst thing that happened to Randy was Kevin Owens. But I enjoyed Randy's run last year.
Right. Spaz with a $5 super chat. We all know 6 was always scared of 7 because 7, 8, 9. But did you know the most scared was 10? Stuck there in the middle. Oh, fucking Christ almighty, Spaz. I should have You had me in the first half. I'm not going to finish the second half, my guy.
Sometimes comments got to be read before being clicked on.
Well, when they're a super chat, Mike, you click on some things. All right, here, let those in a sinking ship throw glass stones. I don't know. Not here like the fucking bartender from Boondock Saints. Those in glass houses shouldn't sink ships.
Okay, so John C was talking about the shoulder screw up last year. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he was the shoulder screw up. That was definitely a big thing. I'm glad they paid that off though and had the rematch after he won the title.
Right, as we got Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT game on 2K24. That's a long name. Saying, how are you doing today? Good. I'm sorry my answer's shorter than your name, but yes.
Yeah, same. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's Friday. That's all I had to say. I had a rough work week. So
it's getting hot out here in these streets and everything. And yeah, it's getting summertime. It's getting the holiday season and all of that. And oh, now I got to find it. I was setting up a segue and I can't find it. The segues. But yes, folks, if you're out here hot and bothered out there in these streets and you're waiting for some new sheets and some new attires and some new wardrobes, some new garb to put on your body and everything like that, especially you're out here all hot and bothered, you got to change shirts 3 times a day. Well, we got 3 shirts at least for your wrestling needs out there. We got everything and anything from your Netflix and chills, your Jarrah Hogan's, your brunch with the boys. We got all your wrestling attires. We'll put you in the finest garbs out there. You'll be feeling like the Emperor's new wardrobe out there. And not like some of these other merch stores that got burlap sacks and everything, just with spray painted, wrestler logos, just a .1 or say tribal on it and call you the chief and everything. But yes, be a friend, tell a friend, grab yourself some wrestling merch today. And again, half the stuff even on the store, like the Meltzer shirts, all go to charity and everything. We ain't even out here making a dime, making $1 off this shit, trying to just make y'all holler. What?
Absolutely. I'm wearing some of the merch right now, as you can see. So
there you go.
Grab you some merch.
It's every time you or KJ's wearing the merch, I am not wearing the merch. So I can be like, yeah, go and buy this shit that I bought probably from like the Dollar General and everything. Yes. As we are on our way with Randall Keith taking on Sami Zayn out here. I said that like it was a fucking car starting up. But we got Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. Let us know, folks, in the chat who you got for this. And Wrestling God, that's going to be the one thing I say on this. So-called WWE fans in the comments bitching and complaining about Jey Uso in the comments. So-called Wrestling for Life Network fans bitching in the comments about Wrestling for Life fans. I'll leave it at that. Be respectful, my guy. I appreciate you, but keep it above the waist.
I'm a segue. We're
trying to rush. Sorry.
I'm a segue real quick just for the folks and the people that live in Atlanta. TNA has just announced that TNA Impact will be airing on the Peachtree Sports Network here in Georgia. So that's pretty fun. If you can't watch TNA, it will be airing on the Peachtree Sports Network. More information will be announced soon. This is according to the TNA website. So just want to let you guys know that.
Fair enough. Well, anyone like Georgia's the only place that could get away with having a Peachtree network. Normally, any other place that has a Peachtree network costs like a subscription plan. I don't know, $5.99, $9.99. I don't know the costs out here, but yeah.
Yeah, because we have like 72 Peachtree streets, we're just Peachtree everywhere.
You're a peachy people.
All right,
that's why
right.
You're so peachy, my guy.
I like Don actually answered the question down, or not answered, but commented and said Peachtree, the name about 50 streets in one area. That's basically correct here. Yes.
See, we got a Georgia constituent, we got a Canadian constituent, we got a Buffalo constituent. Now we just need to expand our constituents.
Right. All right, sorry to do a segue to that, but we are back with Randy Orton and Sami Zayn as the semifinals for this King of the Ring tournament.
I feel like this is me talking to me. You've never apologized for a segue out here. Trust me, my guy. We sat there, did a whole TNA stream talking about you and Austin Powers. Never apologized for a segue. Trust me, there's enough people, and the chat is vocal enough. They will let us know if they want us to pivot.
That is true. That is true.
Right, as we got about 100 people kicking it with us. Let's see if we can rock and roll with that triple digits across the board as Sami Zayn getting draped out like a backboard on the announce desk here. Oh, I thought we were going to commercial, but
it segued to like a commercial, but I guess not.
You had the moment of like you were going to probably do it, but yeah. Now we're going to do it again. Just in case you didn't get it the first time, Sami Zayn has been splattered on the announce desk. The table that will not break. Okay. All right. Now I'm mad because we were literally just talking about this. They did the exact same motherfucking spot.
All the time.
They were clearly setting up for a commercial, and they're like, no, tell them to do it again. We're not ready yet. And so he goes and does the same exact thing, rolls into the ring the same exact way. We get the same exact fucking camera shot, all for a commercial break that you could have had 30 seconds ago.
Now you're definitely speaking my language, and you're in my brain at this point because I wholeheartedly agree with you. As we're on commercial break, I've seen this comment by Damien a few times. I'm trying to confirm, but Damien is saying that Private Party is no longer with AEW.
Their contracts were already on the decline.
They were already up?
Already waiting to be not renewed. So I'm not surprised if they officially are on the block. So
and I did see like the rumors earlier this week that WWE had entrance and signing Private Party. So doesn't surprise me at all.
Fair enough. And I see Anthony on Anthony action. Of Anthony, have you ever been to my city of Savannah? That might be a stupid question. Well, no. I mean, we just saw Savannah Evans. No, we saw her former partner earlier tonight. Yes. Sorry.
We did. Good question. Savannah is so far from Atlanta. It's like 4 hours, but I've been to Savannah a couple of times. Actually, at my last job, I worked at a credit union, and we actually have a branch. Well, they have a branch. I don't work there anymore, thank God. But they have a branch down in Savannah, and I went down there a couple of times to work at that branch. Also, I was there last year or 2 years ago when Raw made their debut in Savannah. I drove there to see Raw. So yeah, I've been to Savannah a couple of times, and I really want to tour the city because it is a paranormal city apparently, and I really want to experience that. So yes, I've been to Savannah a few times.
Man, dropping bars. It's a paranormal city apparently, but yes, I mean, it's only 16 or so letters in the alphabet difference from Atlanta, Savannah. You can't make like a banana and split, my guy.
It's just, driving there is so far. It's like driving to Savannah is like driving to Nashville, and I would rather drive to Nashville because it's the same length of time, 4 hours.
Oh, now when you've got Bill Goldberg and Beyonce showing up, you've got the two big B's out there. You have Beehive in full effect out there. And traffic is backed up for miles.
Yeah.
But Jason, what up? Jose, I'm a segue to some vitamins, as we all do. Absolutely. Al Snow again. Paul Blart made the segue popular. Perhaps he did.
Paul Blart?
Tell me you don't know Paul Blart.
I do. I've seen those movies.
I was like, I'll fucking fight you right now.
I don't think I've seen the second one, but I remember seeing the first one in theaters.
That's
the first
fine.
one. The first one was funny. Yeah, I like the first one.
Yeah,
I was just trying to make the Paul Blart and segue connection. I wasn't
because he always rolled up out there. If Dr. Evil was fucking gold member, how about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
Finally back from a commercial, back with Sami and Randy.
Sami firing up. Spaz saying frozen water is ice. And yes, much like Brody King said, we abolish ice, we crush it, we throw it into oblivion. That man's got stones, and I love it.
So LFG is back this quick?
Yes, I was very surprised. If we're already into season 2 and we barely finished season 1.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, like, we gotta now move everybody else back through. Well, now you got a new side. Now you got a new deal. We're gonna have 7 seasons, not have a new member yet.
And I think the 2 runner-ups have to run through LFG again. I think.
Fair enough. I would not be surprised. I got a draping DDT from Randy Orton. I want me some Peanut. I want her and the Tonga twins. Give me that as a little trio. Revitalize that tag division.
Tonga twins and who again?
Peanut, the sister.
Peanut. Yeah, I really like her. P Nasty, I really liked her. That was cool.
You put her and the Tonga twins from WoW, and that's a hell of a nice little trios there. You could pair that with Solo if you really needed to, if you wanted to. Well, as we've got Randy smashing Sami on the table. Oh, all right. He finally flipped out of it the 3rd time we were going to go for that same fucking move. So now Sami does it on to Randy. Commercial break. Oh, no. Now you watch. They're going to run it back and do it again, and it's going to be a commercial break now. But good match, really good match.
Yeah, it's been fun so far.
Fucking Sami he bruises like he's a true ginger. He bruises like no other,
and it shows.
Yeah, the wind blows the wrong way against this man, and all of a sudden he's got a fucking sunburn.
Oh, Sami Zayn setting up for the Uber kick.
And then a kid's rolling power slam, the vintage Orton. At this point, you could literally call him solid 85 to 90% of Randy Orton's moveset just vintage Randy Orton.
Right. And was it Michael Cole that made that a thing, vintage Randy Orton?
Well, Michael Cole's been the longest tenured, so that would make sense.
Yeah, like it's boss time. He ran that into the ground.
Well, that's that is more insufficient funds than Monet, I'll say. John C. I don't know what happened with the second Paul Blart. It didn't hit.
Yeah, I haven't watched the second movie, but the first one was great. I don't think I've ever planned to watch the second movie though.
Blue Thunder
setting up for RKO.
I just got the Blue Thunder 2 count. Are you behind? I'm getting the replay of the Blue Thunder right now.
I might be a little bit behind.
All right. I'm just back to action off the replay.
Okay. Now back to action.
Okay.
Cool.
So a slight hiccup. Speaking of slight hiccups, Dom bringing up of, to be honest, LFG season 1 ended on March 11th. They just took a long time to air all the episodes. Yes, but that's a fucking thing, though, too. Like, if season 1 ends on Monday and season 2 starts on Friday, that's a little close. That's
right?
A little tight together.
You usually get 4 or 5 month break before you go into the second season.
It's like a month.
It's been like a month, actually. That was a nice RKO.
Hello, my backfires 2, 3. Saw no bitch.
Sami is not. Yeah. So all of our theories go out the window. Is it Cody and Randy in the finals?
Yep. That's to me, that's what it was. You had specific dance partners of Sami wins, Jay wins, Randy wins, Cody wins. You have dance partners of I don't see a Randy Jay final. That to me doesn't play out. I kind of didn't see a Sami Cody final. So now you've got dance partners. So now we know where we're going with this. We know the players at hand. And I know it's not what I booked, but I want to see how it plays out. Why? Just fucking why? It's so redundant at this point of you're beating us over the fucking head with it.
Yeah, I really thought Sami was going to win now. But I think it's going to be Randy and Cody Rhodes in the finals with Nia Jax up next.
Right. Well, yeah, no, and then for sure, I think Cody Rhodes then wins and has the match. So we're gonna get John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. So theoretically, on one hand, you've almost already taken halfway slightly the piss out of your alleged main event with R-Truth, Ron Killings versus John Cena, because this is granted looking all the way down the fucking future foreseeing man shit, but I'm Doctor Strange in this. I got one outcome here that plays off, but yeah, maybe you get it lucky and an R-Truth wins because Punk costs him and helps him win it, and then that sets up Night of Champions. Cena's clearly winning at Night of Champions. If they were going to do the title change to Punk, it wasn't going to be in Saudi. That almost would have been the best case scenario of the last, of John Cena's. Finally, you get the full paradigm shift of CM Punk leaves the babyface, taking the championship and saving the day off the heel John Cena. But now we're going back to very obviously Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. So third time already we've seen this. We probably won't be still even the last time we see this. So I'm just getting tired of this. I've seen it enough. And it's the same outcomes of, are we going to get Cody to take the belt now? And then we get 4 months of John trying to redeem himself. I don't think so. So I don't know.
No, you're right. I really, like I said earlier in the stream, I really thought we were going to lead to like CM Punk taking the title at the end here. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about running back Cody versus Cena. The first match wasn't great at WrestleMania. I'm with C Money down here. I don't know. I know this is as a pun, but we've seen enough. That plain and simple. And I said this
so good. It is such a good pun.
Right. And I said this the last time the three of us were on stream together. Feels like that's been a while, but I was like, we didn't have to have a retirement tour. We haven't seen John Cena wrestle, weekly in like so many years. We could have just had a retirement match and moved on.
See, I'm not fully down that river with you. I still could have done the retirement tour and everything. I still could have done all that. I think the heel angle with Dwayne and Travis got it off on a bad foot, and it's still been trying to recover the whole time. And you've been using this almost more as a vessel for Cody than a thing for John. And it's never fully found its footing, this whole situation across the board to me.
I mean, for the fans that really like Cena, I get that, and they can have the retirement tour. I didn't need to see it. I really could skip over this entire year and be okay.
I like the idea. So you don't want him, CM Punk? You didn't like him versus Randy Orton? You don't want him?
I didn't.
Last time ever. And again, you think that this company's going to walk away from clear and obvious merch of this man, any city, state he shows up in. He's got merch movers right there.
Well, to answer your question, I did not watch Backlash because that match was happening. I am going to watch Night of Champions because I'll be watching Night of Champions with a friend. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I didn't care about Randy Orton. And I think I said that in our prediction video for Backlash. I was like, I don't care for Randy Orton versus Cena. And then I didn't even watch Backlash altogether. So
I'm going to hit you with an RKO right now. I'm going to hit you with a vintage Randy Orton, my guy. Because I got Nia Jax out here right now, and I think you might be stepping aside, my guy.
I don't know. I forgot Nia Jax was coming out, so I might have to wait until Nia Jax, this segment is over before taking the pause. Because if Naomi shows up, I'm gonna need to be here for that.
Well, Nia Jax kind of running interference, playing offensive lineman of preventing, Naomi from cashing in on Tiffany Stratton. And
true.
Well, how do you feel that? Where does this finally culminate between Naomi, Cora Jade, or not Cora Jade, Jade Cargill, the other Jade, and Bianca Belair? Did Bianca's finger injury, sparse to say, put this kind of in a hang up?
I don't know if it put it in a hang up. I feel like it may have postponed some things if they had some plans around that. I am scared, and I don't want to put this out in the universe, but I am scared that Naomi may have a failed cash in due to Jade.
Ooh.
That freaking scares me.
Oh, yo.
Okay.
As
so we got Tiffany.
Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton has my title, and then we used to get Tiffany time, and the eye roll from Nia Jax. She went full Undertaker, my guy. She was straight. You will rest in peace. And all that, yeah.
This is why me and John C see eye to eye. Like we right here, John C. We right here.
Now kiss. No, I didn't even read the fucking comment.
You want to read it? You want to read it? I'll click back on it.
I'm with Anthony. We could have done without Cena farewell tour this year. I don't care about Cena. He could have come out and did a speech and been done. So what? He would have been Jeff Jarrett. He would have been Jeff Jarrett of pitching a retirement tour, and then that shit gets cut off real quick.
Wrap it up. Do your "I Have a Dream" speech, and then
I know, because you're telling me that him winning 17 wasn't cool. Him winning 17 wasn't a good moment.
Not with that ending with Travis Scott.
No, that fuck that. We're trimming it down. We're taking it in that moment. And see, that's the issue. Is it's been martyred. It has been spotted. It is, had stains thrown upon it. It is weighed down by the Dwayne situation. Is weighed down by Travis Scott, etc. If you had this Cena heel turn and this retirement tour without that, I think it would be so much better. It is,
but the thing about it is, I can't imagine that because we didn't get it.
Well, God dang it! Imagine it with your mind's eye. As Nia Jax is imagining with her mind's eye or her whole, I don't know, of her as champion. And she just literally just mollywopped fucking Tiffany. Like not even 2 moves.
To set up for a tease cash-in by Naomi if she comes out here.
But then that's going to set up the match between Nia and Naomi. This is very much.
There goes Naomi.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is overextending of.
Wait a minute.
No.
Is she going to do it?
Is she going to actually do it?
Is she going to do it? Are y'all going to see? Okay.
Are you going to live?
Y'all not going to see me freak out.
I thought you were about to live predict she's going to fail cash in, but no. Like I said, this sets up the match between Naomi and Nia. Because the shit took too long. Normally, if you're going to cash in on a situation, it's matter of moments. It's split seconds. As Tiffany boots everybody. They dragged their feet too long to make it know that it was going to be a stall.
Because y'all was not going to see me freak out on stream if she won the women's championship.
All right. Flash reverse that since we're Doctor Strange in it and everything. Let's play that outcome to where she cashes in right now. One time, I want to see Anthony crash out live on stream. Folks, let your comments be known. What can you say that might make Anthony crash out? And just don't keep us on YouTube. Shuck it, duck it, quack, quack. Now, Tim's, no, she doesn't. No one looks strong in that. No one looks stronger than that. That's a triple threat at best.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with you there.
I mean, does Tiffany look great? She got jobbed out and boo the food in two moves, doom, and then then Nia had to sit there and stall for Naomi to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the yin and the yang. I thought we were RVD announcing his child coming in the world here, but yeah, we got yings and yangs with CM Punk and John Cena. Are you Ying or am I Yang?
I think you may be Ying. I don't know.
I'm Yang Ling Lee. Jose saying cheers twin to I don't know who. Chair saying poor booking. Anthony can't imagine it with his mind's eye. His hat's in the way.
My hat and my hair, everything is in the way. As my hair is growing back, so
Oh,
see, growing back after cutting it, shaving it all off.
Yeah, well, now we're out here in that Just for Men hair club out here, and KJ's discriminating. KJ's the minority with the bald head. He's Ricochet. You got a bald head. Nick Nye says, rest in Prada Beach. What?
Oh, that's the rest in Prada.
I'm still waiting for my Georgia surplus refund check. Sir, I don't know. You can file that with Anthony. I don't represent the southern sections of this state. We decided KJ gets the Great North. I get the North, and Anthony gets the South.
Man, I got mine and spent it. So thank you to our governor.
Some tags. Well, folks, as I can try and find a way to pivot back to find the slide. I can speak of a great way to spend, whether you got a refund check, you just got any check, a paycheck, your mother sent you a birthday check or anything like that. You got a $20 to your name to make you holler and everything. You know what'll make you holler? Getting you some Wrestling for Life merch. Everything. 100%.
That is true.
Statistics have sown and shown. I don't know if you've seen this on your news channels out there in Georgia, Anthony, but the news media out here in the Great Northeast and everything is showing statistically those who wear Wrestling for Life merch specifically have a greater percentage of succeeding in life.
I've seen it. I've seen a few news reports like that.
Man's living truth and testament out here. He's rocking the merch as we live and breathe.
Yeah, and they're right. They're absolutely right.
Anthony bought some wrestling belts with Boston made a killing selling them belts. I'd buy all belts Monet shirt. Oh God, Monet Hogan. I think we just have to, like I said, it'd have to be more insufficient funds or improper balance or something like that, because fucking 6 championships now at this point.
Yeah, it's 6, and then she's
soon to be 7. Soon to be 7.
7 in about 3-4 weeks. Yeah,
it's that.
It's crazy.
Right. Yes, Billy Stone Cold. Don't you insult my friend like that. You should send photo on what the all right. Ooh, keep it private, my guy. You just keep it above trowel.
Yeah. Well, as Chelsea Green comes out, I'm gonna leave you guys with Nick here for a little bit.
That's how you know he's in like the CIA or the FBI and everything. If he's got to run away because the Secret Service is out here. But yes, we got Chelsea Green out here for a match. All Rip Hamilton masked up and everything. this is a hell of a little interesting ditty here. Oh, pause. I probably shouldn't have said ditty. He's interesting enough as it is. But Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green. Good showing, I think, across the board. It's really interested me of who takes the win here. Let me know, folks, who you got. Excuse me. As we got that coming up. And speaking of things coming up, besides me burping, pause, could we see, I know we've allegedly, supposedly got a Solo Sikoa Jacob Fatu segment tonight and everything. Solo will take Jacob back if he just acknowledges his tribal chief and etc. But could we get, this is the debut of a Hikuleo, what have you. We thought we were going to see it last week, and he showed up on main event before SmackDown instead of on SmackDown. And they still at least called him Hikuleo. So could this be to where Solo starts to bring in recruits, to fill in the boots because Jacob's going solo, pun intended. MDB and Anthony and Boston are having a triangle dispute here, and I don't know how I feel about it. Undashing Chelsea Green, yeah, a little bit. I mean, oddly enough, I don't think that this is the first time that she's kind of done the masked, disfigured gimmick, but I think that she's very much become a license to print money. She has become what we all thought Zach Cardona, Christ almighty, I merged the gimmicks together. Zack Ryder, aka Matt Cardona, or if you're on the vitamins, Zach Cardona, could be, should be, would be in WWE. She is all about it. Was out there cutting, backstage segments and videos for fucking TikTok and everything after she just broke her nose and all of that. She is fully, let's do business with all of this. How can I make money? How can I get over? How can I make this entertaining? And that is a surprisingly lost art in pro wrestling, and I'll even say pro wrestling content, but I'm not going to name names. But yes, it is very much I really admire of how much Chelsea Green puts into the craft. She is not, 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. She is not going to being, tactician, all of that. No, she is not that, but God damn it, she will have probably the most entertaining match of the night, and it'll be debatable. And her versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's an interesting case of, is she supposed to be a heel? She is supposed to be a face. She hit Chicago, so just set her up versus Becky in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and let all the or in Detroit, just we'll split the difference. You can have the Bears fan versus the person who hates Chicago in Detroit. But Charlotte's still got the gravitas, still got the air about Flair with it. So this is really interesting. I don't know who wins. As WWE is rattling off their list of podcasts, but I will rattle off our list of streams, and how fitting that I switched just to right to tomorrow. We will be sitting down with the French Canadian Frankenstein PCO, KJ. We're getting extra Canadian here. We got KJ chatting it up with PCO, and the man is going into everything with MLP, going into his title match that's coming up that we'll be covering. Scott D'Amore he even had some words to say about Shotzi Blackheart, recently released from WWE, the alleged vying for the title of King, Queen of the Ring, or Queen of the Indie scene, what have you, and everything. So, and I mean, of course, it's Canadians. You got to talk fucking hockey. This was before the end of the cup, I believe, or at the end of the cup. So, yes, be your friend, tell a friend, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you tune into that 100%, because trust me, I feel like there's about to be a fair amount of some quotables coming out of that, my guys and gals. Yes, back at it like a jackrabbit from Monday Night Raw. So we're getting the other half of these semifinals. So we're getting Jade versus Roxanne Perez. Shit, I forgot. Is it Roxanne or is it Io? That's the other half of this fucking semi. Anthony might have sold me down the river of misfortune. But we've also got Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, top babyface, former world champ versus top babyface, former world champ. You know, remains to be seen what will happen. Absolutely. As as I got Charlotte Flair coming to the ring right now. So let me know, folks, who you taking, Charlotte Flair or Chelsea Green? Or could this be to where the Canadian Queen, often known as Trish Stratus, might make her status known, of a Chelsea Green versus a Trish Stratus at Evolution? My heart beats still. Canadian empires might fall. On Dashing Chelsea Green, yes, got that. Roxanne, Jade and Roxanne. So, okay. So, yes. So, Anthony done dumped me down a river of lies out here. So, we could get. So, now we're going to get Asuka. I'm going to ask you a question of if we're going to get Asuka versus Roxanne or if we're going to get Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Oh, yeah. Where did Io come into this? But, yeah, no, this is going to get real interesting. Oh, Chelsea right now in control of Charlotte here. Again, folks, let me know in the chat who you taking. As again, we got 100 people. We got triple digits in the chat. I got to refresh the streams to see where we're at on the likes and everything. Ox me a question. Yeah, I'll Ox tell you a question. But my God, you're a Rastafari boy. Nick forgot Io was the champ. No, I did not forget that she was the champ. I didn't doubt that you could have the champ in this fucking thing. That's the terrible part of this. Let's not act like we haven't had a fucking. All right, I might have freaking forgot it, but then that would have made a lot of sense. But let's not act like tournaments haven't had the champs involved in the fucking thing. But anyways, Manny, what up? As we got 114 likes on the stream, as I see 92 now. Let's see if we can keep this all above triple digits, keep everything above water out here as we're rolling and rocking and rivering all the way to 8K subscribers here. They're basically fighting to be the number one chicken contender. Well, that's what we had earlier. At least it's not a patella attendee like we saw with Gigi Dolan. We're going to commercial break with Chelsea Green has very much so far been in control of Charlotte Flair here. So you know what that tells me? Is Charlotte Flair is winning this match. Let's go Secret Harvest, not Charlotte Flair. Damien, you're going to have somewhat explain Secret Harvest out there. Are you part of a co-op or something? I don't know. Nick, tough question. How would you book the finish of Cody versus Jay next week on Raw? I got a commercial with Italian Alps. I'm going to be honest. I thought for a half second you said the Italian apes, and I was going to just raise my hand. The finish of Cody versus Jay. If I was going to book it, the Secret Harvest. That's what he meant. The Secret Harvest. Because now it's going to be setting up for Cody's got to get the win because Jay's going to go under. Ludwig, actually, probably that's might be the case. Is Ludwig interferes, or maybe you get a Braun and Braun security. You get something tied to that. Someone interferes with yes, MDB, not to be confused with the Bathing Apes. Nice shoe. But no, if you get something like Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker, you maybe get a Ludwig that comes out and interferes and costs Jay. That's the thing, is Jay just coming off of being champ doesn't have too many enemies. And really kind of the only big enemy right now for Cody Rhodes is John Cena, who he would be trying to win to face. So unless John makes an appearance and costs him, or a Logan Paul, could Logan Paul cost Jey Uso? Logan Paul could cost either man in that match. That could be a fucking thing. So that would be how I would book it. Honestly, if I'm going to SummerSlam, I book Logan Paul interferes and costs Jay, And fuck it, we'll go to Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam, Jey Uso versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam. That's probably where I book it. I don't know if you do Randy J or anything. How else you would connect? You're not going to do a Ludwig J, I don't feel. So it would be interesting, but I think much like they got out of it with Asuka and Alexa, I think that there's a clear and obvious choice. The Secret Harvest sounds spooky. Yeah, well, we're not into the spookies or the dookies or the chews yet. We still got a couple months. We're out here late June, early July, so we still got a couple months before we get into the fall season, the horror movie season. TJ, what up? Vitamin Harvest. Yeah, that's the new Cullen. Is the Vitamin Harvest. Spaz with a $5 super chat as I adjust my hat. So the new propaganda hitting the dirtiest of the sheets is it's Blake Monroe's fault that AEW had Mercedes Moné bury Athena and take her undefeated streak. What the I'm waiting for Anthony to come back because I'm glad you brought this up because I might be, vibrating and pollinating and everything, but we need to talk about this whole Athena situation. But yeah, I have not seen anything close to that or could even rationalize in my head how that makes any bit of sense. But it did pay me $5 to talk about it. So to me, the fact that Athena, your longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, not just women's, your longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, the mainstay, the fucking flag bearer of pawn flag bearers for that brand at this point in Texas. You use her for the fucking advertising for the show and you can't book her. Bad business, Tony. Bad business. Bad business. As Charlotte's out here saluting and hyping. Oh. Now, why the that's so stupid ass in the lane of like a cartwheel into a clothesline. Especially when you can't hit the cartwheel or the clothesline fast enough to look like you had any bit of an impact. Spazza read that as well, Frank. I have not. Well, and I will also say this. We always very much preach stop listening to Dave Meltzer and so on and so forth. Zigzag, Rough Rider from Chelsea for a 2 count. Stop listening to Jonathan Coachman. Just do it. He has been, this man is pitching nothing but offers, looking like a fucking gopher. He has been wrong on so many fucking levels and so prominently wrong on shit and so vehemently wrong. So just, you can see the grift coming. Just stop and ignore it. Use good logic. Spear from Charlotte 1, 2, 2 count. Oh, figure 8. We're setting up for this. I thought, small package. Chelsea 1, 2, 2 count. Almost on the small package. We go right into the figure 8. I thought I would have liked her to win this on a natural selection as Charlotte's tapping a figure 8, as the Secret Harvest already running in and Niven just bombing away on Chelsea or Charlotte. Charlotte's knee brace is coming undone. Yeah, well, I don't know if she's halfway trying to sell the knee. Oh, here comes Alexa. Alexa trying to, here I come to save the day. We're going to set up for a 6-man. We're going to set up a super blonde 6-woman as we get Charlotte dumping people out. We got a Sister Abigail. Could we see it? Do we see it? It's time to rock and roll. But we got the tension between Charlotte and Alexa. We got a blonde on blonde standoff. They used to say this only happened in New Mexico. But we got a blonde on blonde standoff. Charlotte might be hurt, I think, like MDB, or like you said. I think it's more of her knee brace was coming undone. As Charlotte walking off. 3-0 DQ. No, it was a tap out submit. So Charlotte Flair picks up the win, but she brushes off Alexa, and yeah, we got the blonde on blonde feuds. And especially now, this makes sense because Alexa eliminated from Queen of the Ring. So I got open and ample opportunity here. Charlotte, looking back as I got JC Mateo wrapping up the wrist tapes. Spaz, Nick, check your DMs. Pause. What you trying to do? You trying to be showing around, sapping and tapping in with these DMs, my guy? For the reference to the previous super chat, not just coach, but it's dirty to bury Athena as she tries to host her own ladies pay-per-view. Oh, again, when Anthony comes back, we can fully dive into this or a commercial or anything. But yeah, they've been doing dirty work when it comes to Athena. She has been the secret fucking light bright of that whole company, that whole promotion. She's carried Ring of Honor on her fucking back for 2 to 3 years now and gets no credit and gets no prominence, no vindication on any of that. So, yeah. As I'm in commercial break right now, as we had the little tease there with JC Mateo and so on and so forth. But yes, let us know, folks, what's on your wrestling minds right now. Solo and JC Mateo. Solo better have a backup plan for when Jacob Fatu rejects him once again. I do believe he does, and I think he's almost close to 7 foot tall. And his name is Hikuleo, or formerly known as Tonga Tala. Yeah, I think that's where we go. I don't know if Tama Tonga was the most recent injured, so I don't know if he's anywhere close to being back. Tonga Loa has been out since War Games with a torn bicep, I believe. Lance, last I knew, was still injured, could be recovered by now. But they did also, it was very much teased and thought about and talked about of Hikuleo debuting last week, and he debuted on main event instead before SmackDown. So could that just be warming you up of just testing the waters, and now we get this coming out here of Hikulululelum. I don't even think I said that right. Too many L's. But yeah, I think Hikuleo could be the one coming out here and kind of even the odds. We get a Jacob Fatu versus Hikuleo. Hey, what do you do? Hey, what do you say? Solo and JC have the numbers, so we're definitely getting another Samoan to help Jacob. Oh, Jose, I don't think that's the case. Respectfully, Jacob, he equals like 3 Samoans or 3 Polynesians at minimum, 3 other superstars at least. So JC and Solo, like you're scratching the surface of even odds, I feel. Jacob is the Samoan werewolf. Jacob is a force unto itself. He's a little Hulk smash instead of he just goes yada yada mean. So I think JC Mateo and Solo need to get reinforcements to fight Jacob, just because, again, Samoan werewolf, man just smashes things. And he's such a fucking star. And he's a champion. And we were already predicting that he could at some he was going to have his breakout. I still want him versus Roman at some point. I think that there's going to come a time when we get a Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, like solid feud, like not just a kind of one-off or took him out or anything. Like no, a legit back and forth. Carrying current Ring of Honor is like modeling underwear that's full of holes. Athena should be moving on. Well, don't you talk about my underwear attire, but yes, I got holes for goals, my guy. But Athena is just so beyond at this point Ring of Honor. I've wanted her for the longest time to be up on the main roster version of AEW. And at this point, they're running the risk of they might lose her back to WWE of her contract's coming up, allegedly. And WWE is going to be knocking down the door of, if they ain't going to use you, we'll fucking use you. And you've got momentum. And you got, You've got all the personality and the talent you had before, but you've got momentum now. As Solo Sikoa coming out right now. What is that behind it? There is something behind him in the entranceway that I can't figure out. But Solo Suge Knight out here representing Bloodline Records. He always has to wear some shade of burgundy, brick red, vibrant red, what have you, fire engine red, everything. It's decision time. I think 100% that Jacob Fatu is going to still just, I hate you, Solo. Kyle, Nick, is there still a chance of a possible Henry versus Cena match? Where? That's becoming the issue of where. Where do you fit this in? As we're bigging up and replaying the I hate you Solo and then the moonsault. But where do you fit that in? And especially now with Joe Hendry not having the world title, maybe needing time off, maybe kind of needing a restart of that ship may have sailed. Athena finally has a little bit of juice behind her. The juice is on the loose, my guy. Brought to you by Minute Maid, which it's very interesting that WWE's got Minute Maid juice, but I digress. He got on Burgundy because he hurting me. His name is Ron. Christian, hey guys, sorry for the long pause trying to find someone to talk to about sports. Well, we got you, Christian. Hi, you got the whole chat and everything. Sometimes, though, when you typing out a whole parallelogram and we're watching the shows, it gets a little hard to get through everything, but we got you, my guy. You got it. Got that one as well. I got Jacob Fatu coming out right now. Cena versus Goldberg in a Bosley hair for men contract on a pole match. Halfway, yes, but I don't know Bosley, so I can't fully comment on that. But yeah, just for men. Cannibal for Men, King, Manscaped, the November match of John Cena versus Bill Goldberg, William H. Goldberg, of who can ever have the baldest head wins. Is anyone else still kind of concerned of how much Solo dresses like The Weeknd? I already know they use The Weeknd for all the WrestleMania streams, but now we got the wrestlers dressing like them. Their dads are twins. Are they? I don't believe so. Whose dads are twins? Because Solo's dad is Keish, and Jacob's dad is the Tongan kid, I believe. Now you're going to make me fucking question my Enowahi history here. Fact checkers, let me know who is Jacob Fatu's father. Is it who the fuck did I just say? But yeah, who is Jacob Fatu's father? We know Big Keish, Big Vocal Keish, is out there being Solo and the Usos' father. Oh, yeah, was it the Tongan kid? Twins don't have to be identical. No, but they do have to be born at the same time out of the same person. I don't think that's been a fucking thing here. Roddy, that's correct. What the fuck did Roddy say? Why? We fight all the time. Why? I don't know what Roddy said, so I can't confirm it nor deny it. Jacob Fatu. His dad, the Tongan kid, so I was right. But him and Keish look alike, though. Who gives a shit? That doesn't make you fucking twins and everything. All right, so I was right that it was Jacob's, the Tongan kid's son. So they're not twins just because they might look alike. Don't mean they're twins. They're all fucking Polynesian, Samoan, Enowahi, all that. Maybe Solo looks like Bruno Mars. No, he looks like a Weeknd. I was on my own. Zilla's Umaga-san. Yes, correct. Bruno Mark on Fortnite. What? Bruno Mars on Fortnite. Solo sounds like a scared child. I don't think Solo sounds like a scared child at all. I think this has been some of the best stuff from Solo very much recently. He's kind of felt more of a bit of that personality. Like, he may not win. I'll give you that. He might be a little bit closer towards Job of the Stars, but he's got a personality. He has a viable character, and you get who he is. I don't have any belts. Fuck you mean? You have JC Mateo? You have the Toggans? They're just on the sidelines. He's sitting there saying he's trying to do his best Roman Reigns of there is no me without you type shit, but it's very clearly, obviously, not the case. He's trying to bring Jacob back into the fold. Just tell me you love me. Just acknowledge me. And then we can all put this behind ourselves. Nick, has Dwayne said anything about his countrymen who worked on Moana and Part 2 killed at a rally by mistaken identity? Larry, no, and I don't know exactly what you're allegedly expecting me to can potentially say about that. I don't even know if that's true, let alone this is not the time nor the place to, I guess, talk about that. But yeah, this, I guess, gets to where I need to proofread it. But yeah, how about you maybe like, we don't need to get into in politics right now. And as we're getting the censored out holy chance. Jacob versus Solo for the U.S. title. I think so. You love me. I think we're gonna get that. We were gonna get this match at some point. I wonder if we get it right out the gate with this and for the U.S. title. As Jacobs, let me level with you. Imagine hating Solo. Impossible. I mean, that's kind of his objective, but I think he's very much grown. He's grown the best, I would say, almost arguably, out of where he was to start the Bloodline to where he is now. Jay would be the next closest you could argue, but Jay was already a bit of a star before he got there. As Jacob bringing up the tribal chief. Fatu acting like Ice Cube. Absolutely. Man's out here in a fucking backwards Raiders jersey. And you expect him not to be out here acting like, you know, Samoan with an attitude? Look at me when I'm speaking to you. Fatu gonna make Solo drop the Solo. Yeah. I hate you, Solo. This is so good of Jacob Fatu. We knew this was going to happen, and we've just seen it play out. And I'm glad they gave it time to play out. Of he has leapfrogged of Solo Sikoa by a big amount, by a big margin, a bigger nine. I like this from Jacob. He isn't yelling like he usually does. He's being sincere and telling Solo how it is. Absolutely. I mean, keep it a buck. We can be excited on the channel and everything. But if I pull in a dad voice and everything like that and get real concerned and talking about how I'm walking it and everything, everybody starts to pay attention a little bit more. It starts to carry a bit more weight, a little bit more gravitas and everything. So Jacob out here laying out the title right in front of him. So we could be setting up for Solo versus Jacob. Night of Champions. You watch, it's going to be that. Yeah. The crowd pops, but yeah, this is where you get Jacob, who's not just spastic. Yeah, I mean, all gas, no brakes with it. I'm going to just dog walk you. If you ever think about coming this way, yeah, I mean, You know what I'm about, and you know what's popping with blood. Like, that's the thing. Jacob has managed to kind of fit that vibe of still, I am not gang. I do not gang bang, but don't play me like and I will pull up and bang. Jacob just working over Solo here. So did they officially set up a match? But Jacob looked great there. And he's we've clearly gotten now the divide of Jacob Fatu as the babyface in this situation. I'm waiting for a Hickory Stick, a Hikaleo, a surprise appearance of anybody else here. We already had him show up on main event, so why can't we get him on SmackDown as Solo and JC? Jimmy! I saw the red and just thought Hick, but I got Jim with the stick instead. No, and this is where we're going to go. We're going to even the odds with Jim, and then we're going to bring it back around. I saw some people that are saying Gunther needs to just wear out Goldberg like he did Jimmy Uso. He just needs to be bathing in that man's blood. But yeah, Jimmy pops out instantly just getting worked over by his little brother and his friend. How you the big bro and just getting worked over by little bro and big bro as Jacob? That's such a good fucking camera shot. Literally just between the shoulders of both of them. You see Jacob just firing up like fucking Godzilla coming back to life. Headbutt. Super kick. Oh, you watch. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get a tag team match. I feel at some point between Jacob and Jimmy versus JC and Solo. Are we going to get? This is interesting. This might be the first meeting of the lines. We might get our first, what's it called? Incursion of Solo's bloodline meeting with Roman's bloodline of Jimmy and Jacob halfway pairing up. Nothing really established yet, but they're just giving each other the stanky Yankee eye. I don't know if you want to come back on the stanky Yankee eye, but I mean, my guy.
A bad segue to come back on?
Oh, you a segue that's busted down. You came down on a unicycle that doesn't have a seat, my guy.
So what I missed so far? I had to step away from everything.
So Samoan warfare, Samoan war. We got Jacob Fatu being a Samoan with an attitude about all this. You had Solo come out and try and make a peace offering to Jacob. I love you. Just love me back. And Jacob pretty much laid down the challenge. And if you ever think about trying me over here, you know what I'm about. And then JC Mateo comes out. Jimmy Uso comes out to make the save and everything. We had a halfway bit of a tease of the incursion of bloodlines, of Solo's bloodline meets Roman's bloodline. Jimmy teaming with Jacob. But nothing official kind of yet. They just kind of leave it all staring at each other as Solo and JC get thrown off here. I thought we could have gotten a Hikaleo because we saw him debut on main event last week.
Yeah.
And we could have turned the Polynesian tide with this.
Yeah, so Jimmy came out to help Jacob. That's wild. I kind of like that.
Well, did he come out to help him or did he come out to beat up his little brother? Because that's the thing. See, Jimmy got worked over by his little brother and his friend. Like, true. I don't know about you, but I've never found a time or two to where my little bro and his friend just worked me over like that. As a big bro, you can't let that shit happen.
You can't let it happen. Yeah, I've never had that happen to me, so that might be the case.
Right. But so I'm in commercial. Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about this. You just came back, sir. Athena. Controversies and conversations about her all-in status, her Monet, where she should have gone away, what have you, and everything. Of how do you feel about all of this with Athena being the hot topic of women's pro wrestling right now?
Yeah, I've seen some things about Athena over the past couple of days. It hasn't she even I think she even said herself that like she wanted to be a part of All In, right? Um, I mean, from what I'm understanding, I haven't seen a lot of Athena's matches, but I do know she's been running Ring of Honor for what 2-3 years at this point.
Pretty
Is it
much
about
since
two?
they've owned it.
Yeah, pretty much since it was bought by Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about it on the channel a couple of times of why she wasn't featured on Dynamite a lot, and when she did eventually get featured on Dynamite, it was in a losing effort to Mercedes Monet, someone that's supposed to be helping the women's division. And then we just haven't seen her since. And then you use her in the marketing for All In, and she's not a part of the show. Something is not right. Something doesn't seem right at all.
Well, and then there was the whole story that I saw came out that they were okay. They were initially okay or going to do, and I hate that they have to say okay. The fucking Monet's handlers. She said it works for me, brother. To where she would have lost to Athena to then set up the rematch, but because it was the Owen, it made too much sense that Mercedes won. The Owen takes on Tony. Like you said, I mentioned earlier, to have her even the marketing, she's a Texas gal. She is one of the top women, one of the top champions, male or female. You have that fucking company, and you've got lucky that she stayed as relevant as she has because she's done it all on her own, not through any of your work with anything with Ring of Honor. So
Exactly.
now when WWE starts to come calling and might say, hey, well, you've been here a time or two before, you got some momentum, you got some juice, they ain't using you, what if we use you? It's starting to get very fumbly and bumbly.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and someone like I've been so outspoken about this, but like Deonna Purrazzo, like someone that really is actually a phenomenal wrestler, not being seen on Dynamite, or when she is seen on Dynamite, is on picture in picture in her Southern New Hampshire commercials for that college there. But it's just like Deonna Purrazzo actually posted a promo, a vignette of herself taking the indie bookings, and she was speaking about over the past 18 months how this is the less she has wrestled in her whole career, which I think she's been wrestling 13-ish years, and this is the less she has wrestled, and now she's doing these indie bookings to build her name back up, build her confidence back up, and that's all because she's not being used in AEW.
I have a statement and opinion on that, as I've got also LA Knight working over Bronson Reed in the corner right now. So, folks, let us know who you're taking for this match here, whether you got LA Knight or Bronson Reed. As I do see, or is it Dylan or Dylon? Dylon. Hello, friends in chat. Hope all is well, Anthony. Good to see you. I don't get to see you much when you are live.
Well, thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good.
There you go. Hassan voting for LA. LA. Well, LA is burning. LA is definitely on fire, but for different reasons. The city is on fire for different reasons than the wrestler.
That's true.
But could it be that Tony's just helping lower the price for TKO and WWE? Of, hey, I'm going to devalue the shit out of Deonna Purrazzo. So when you initially were going to sign her, and she was at like 100,000, she'll take 50,000 now because she just wants to get the fuck up on out of here. I think as much as WWE wrestlers used to use AEW as leverage for contract negotiations because Tony will pay through the nose on anything, I think his devaluing of talent has now watered down the market. So WWE might be looking at some people who I can get you on the low now.
That I don't know. That might be the case because definitely her name. Just speaking about with Deonna Purrazzo is like it's not talked about enough a lot anymore. It used to be talked about a lot within the wrestling space, at least with TNA, but now, she's not being used, she's not being talked about. That might be the case.
Her, a Taya Valkyrie.
Mhm.
We were talking about of Athena, of hey, you get a bit of bump in pay because you're a champion and we're taking, you away from them, and we can use that in the momentum, and we've at least still got even the trademark to Ember Moon, and people
Right,
still know who Ember Moon is. Trust
right.
me, my wife hasn't watched wrestling in probably 2 years. She hasn't watched wrestling pretty much since I've done this channel, and is still a fan of Ember Moon, still wants to keep up to date with Athena and all of that. So you have her come back, you already own that trademark, and we can big her up, and you can probably get her on a bit of a discount or a bit of you've got them more on a better talking point because Tony ain't using you. We can use you. It might be NXT, but we'll use you every week.
That's true. She'll be used every week, definitely in WWE if she decides to go
You
back there.
you imagine though that women's division
Mhm.
of we just had Stephanie, Julia, potentially Jordan might be all vacating here. We just had Blake Monroe, Mariah May get
Mhm.
involved. We've got Jada Parker. We've got Sol Ruka. You name them, Lola Vice, everything. You turn around, you add in a Ember Moon back into Athena. You add in a Deonna Purrazzo. You add in a Taya Valkyrie. Holy shit! If that isn't reloading the fucking chamber, I don't know what is.
Right, right. Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely. Yeah.
orders row. And hey, now I got to deal with TNA. So, hey, Deonna, we're not using you that much on NXT. You want
Mhm.
to go do some shit in TNA? Hey, Taya, you want to go and have a good big moment and a big pop down there in TNA? And shit, you can even work with your husband in TNA because that can cross lines because it ain't our shit fully. So, it is the best play. Tony is secretly setting up WWE to have even a better women's division than they already have.
And that might be the case. That really might be the case. Even if Deonna Purrazzo or Tyra Valkyrie don't even jump ship to WWE, they can easily go back to TNA and make that division, it's already, good. They've signed more talent, make it even better with, them two coming back into the fold.
Right. Well, I'm going to try and make this better and go from 2 to 1 here, but I'll be back soon.
As Nick takes a pause here, we got SmackDown still on commercial. I'm gonna try to go through the chat a little bit as we were talking for the past couple of minutes, but Jose. Wait, well, we'll start with MDB up here. MDB says Mercedes Moné literally hasn't lost a match since she left WWE. The only time she lost, she wasn't even pinned, and I think you're talking about the new what is it, the New Japan Women's Strong Belt or something, the name of that. Yeah, she didn't get pinned in that match. She's really undefeated everywhere she goes, but she's supposed to be helping women's wrestling. Jose says Monet has so much creative control. I wouldn't be surprised if more toast starts getting pushed. I like that, more toast. As SmackDown is back, and we got LA Knight and Bronson Reed on the middle rope as Bronson Reed takes a tumble to the middle of the mat here. Don says it's really sad. Wednesday shows 32 men, 2 women. How is that right in anyone's mind? Yeah. Yeah. I've been vocal on this channel of how 1, 2 kick out by Bronson, of how I really like women's wrestling. Going to Evolution, individual tickets go on sale next Wednesday. But the showcase of women on AEW Weekly is very lackluster. It's and right now it's really only surrounded by Mercedes Moné. Let's just be honest. Um, ooh, nice. It was like a fu by Bronson Reed, but I think the commentators called it a jagged edge. I might be wrong, but that was nice for a 2 count. Damien says, do you think Deonna Purrazzo goes back to WWE or her last 2 times she has not been used? Well, I think Deonna Purrazzo goes back to TNA. That's where I think Deonna Purrazzo goes back to. Ooh, nice reversal by LA Knight into a DDT into a cover that I'm pretty sure would be a 2 count. Oh, then goes Braun Breaker when he was about to go for the pin. Bronson Reed back on his feet over the top rope. But yes, I do believe Deonna Purrazzo actually goes back to TNA, and a spear by Breaker into a disqualification. Frankie says all the AEW women not being used are going to yeah, I heard about Bischoff's and Hogan's new promotion. I'm pretty sure, you know, people are going to watch that, but that could be the case, Frankie. Oh, spear, another spear by Braun Breaker. That spear kind of came out of nowhere too. Ronan down here says, please do not put Athena. He wrote this in all caps. He means all this as he hits a tsunami. Bronson Reed hits a tsunami. I said tsunami to LA Knight, and he's going up for a second one. I'm gonna get to Ronan's comment after this. That's tsunami number 2. And he's going up for a third. Oh, okay. He's not. It looked like he was going up for a third, but he's not. Wait, no. Braun Breaker is calling for the third. And Paul Heyman is screaming, I warned you. He did basically tell LA Knight to leave Grand Rapids, and LA Knight didn't take it. And now there's 3 tsunamis to LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight is done for at the moment with Seth Rollins' new group standing tall. But Ronan says, please do not put Athena on AEW. Mercedes Moné snatched the Ring of Honor women's belt from her as well. That's definitely the case. She'll be 8 belts when that happens. Mega is saying, why is Monet getting all these belts? She's not that good enough for them. Absolutely. She's not. And yeah, MDB corrected me because I'm pretty sure I gave it like 7 names, but it is the New Japan Wrestling Strong Women's title. So I know I gave it like 72 names because I couldn't remember it, but we are close to the main event now. They're saying up next is R-Truth versus John Cena. MDB, yes, absolutely. She's really helping women's wrestling by putting over herself. That's exactly what she's doing. So we are close to the main event here. They're saying up next is going to be John Cena versus R-Truth, which we talked about earlier today, earlier in the stream, of how I kind of wanted to make it be a title match, but then Nick convinced me, was like, do you think R-Truth could win the title? Which match would he more likely win, a title match or a non-title match? And then I quickly said a non-title match. So it makes sense. It definitely makes sense for this to be a non-title match. As we have about 30-ish minutes to the end of SmackDown, how you guys feeling about SmackDown? How you guys feeling so far? What are your thoughts about Randy Orton advancing in the tournament, Asuka advancing in the tournament? We got some war of words between Solo and Jacob Fatu. So yeah, run your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think so far. Boston says SmackDown blows. Ronan says Ron the Kid Trulings for the win. Cena can't handle the truth. Yeah, and put your predictions in the chat too for this match. Which I think R-Truth wins this, but since it's a non-title match, I think R-Truth wins this. But we shall see. MDB says SmackDown is all right. I'm eating nachos. Let's see. Trying to go through the chat a little bit more here. If I can get my mouse to work. Okay, can you guys hear me? I think I lost my mic. Am I good? Give me the thumbs up in the chat. I think it went out on me for a second. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so give me your thoughts on SmackDown so far. Don says I'm good. Okay, because something happened. Everything went off. Big Nick says thumbs up. Boston says you can hear me good because like everything went out for a second. Like I even lost like the screen. Like my monitor went out. So and then I even lost the sound to SmackDown. So I'm struggling for a bit over here, but I think I'm okay now. I think I'm good. SmackDown's came back up where the commercials came back up. Jose gave me a thumbs down, but everybody else is giving me a thumbs up. So I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I hope I am. No, Don, it's not raining again. It's just, I don't know. Everything just blanked out for a second. The camera stayed on, the computer stayed on, the monitor went out, and I think the mic went out. And I can't hear anything on SmackDown. So for some reason. But I'll figure that out when Nick comes back. But I do see SmackDown is back. They're replaying the tsunamis off the top rope from Bronson Reed. And it looks like LA Knight was walked to the back by security. And I'm going to try to turn on my secondary speaker here. Maybe I can hear SmackDown. I don't know. Okay, I hear SmackDown a little bit. Yeah, okay. I think I'm back rolling just a tad bit. So they're going over next week's SmackDown. We got Zelina Vega versus Julia next week for the US title. So SmackDown is actually in Riyadh next week. The Motor City Machine Guns. No, it's actually the Street Profits versus Wyatt Six. They're mentioning how Wyatt Six beat the Motor City Machine Guns to earn this opportunity. And the women's championship will be on the line. It's going to be a last women standing match for the women's title between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. I'm trying to understand why the women's title is not being defended at Night of Champions when it's about the champions, but I don't book the show, so I'm not going to complain. Ooh, so next week, Saturday, Fatu versus Solo for the United States title. No breaks. So that should be a good match. That should be a really fun match at Night of Champions. So we are at the main event. We got they're gonna give this a bit of time. I'm pretty sure to be some run-ins and some distractions and everything, but our truth is coming out right now. Yeah, so Mega says Fatu versus Solo next week. It's for the US title. So so far on Night of Champions, we have the finals for both Queen and King of the Ring tournaments. We got John Cena versus Punk. We got Solo versus Fatu for the United States title. SmackDown is shaping up to be pretty good next week. We got the women's title on the line in a last woman standing match. We got the tag team titles on the line. Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six. The women's United States title is on the line between Zelina Vega and Julia. So it seems like it's Night of Champions Part 1 with SmackDown, and then the actual Night of Champions, the next night. So Jose is asking, do we get a Punk sighting? I feel like Punk has to be involved some type of way, right? I feel like he has to involve himself in this match. He's tied to John Cena. He's tied to the match, obviously, at Night of Champions. So, yeah, I feel like we may get a Punk sighting. Ronan, I'm pretty sure he is down here talking about R-Truth. R-Truth came out all business. He has the look, he has the facial expressions. He's like, this is my time, right? This is my time. I'm doing my own thing right now. So we'll see how this match goes. I don't know. I do feel like there'll be some type of interference, maybe a CM Punk, potentially a Cody Rhodes, we never know. It's we got what, 25-ish minutes until SmackDown ends. So there's definitely going to be some type of, craziness and involvement in this main event tonight. So I don't know. Frankie says Mercedes had you on mute with her. I like that. Maybe she was the one that shut everything down, shut my monitor down and my mic down for a second. So but it looks like it's back up, because as soon as it came back up, I stopped talking about Mercedes, right? SmackDown is on commercial at the moment. Just to go over a few things tomorrow, as Nick is still on his pause. Tomorrow, if I can get there, tomorrow, I believe at 1 p.m., we have the exclusive interview with PCO. PCO is a longtime wrestler, really had a resurgence over the past couple of years in TNA. He did leave TNA in, some controversy on TNA side, on his side, but now he's with Scott D'Amore in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. He'll be wrestling on their July 5th show. I'm not sure if that show is 2 nights. Usually they do 2 nights when they do Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, but he'll be wrestling on their July 5th show, which should be fun. So I'm pretty sure this interview, which I have not heard yet, so I'm excited to hear it myself tomorrow, it's going to be fun. He'll be probably talking about what he's doing with Scott D'Amore and not New Japan, but Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. PCO is my guy. I really like him, so I'm glad he's going to be interviewing with us tomorrow.
Right. So, well, you're my guy and I'm your guy. I hope. I'm not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. Yes, absolutely. Very much. Mavs is going into a title defense, as John Cena's not going into a title defense, but got PCO, the French Canadian Frankenstein, the man, the Quebecer that didn't even ride up on a pony to scare Cage or anything. Yes, absolutely, super excited to hear that. And again, Anthony and I, spoiler alert, have not heard a second of it, have not had any access to it and everything. So we'll be in the chat with everybody, live reacting, live chatting of everything that we hear talked about. And from what KJ's told me, there might be a spicy meatball or two. We might be talking, I don't know if the TNA thing will get brought up, but I know Maple Leaf will get brought up. I know Shotzi Blackheart recently released and everything, making the claim for the king of the queen of the indie scene. Might get brought up as well. So, and we might even get some hockey talk, because of course it's fucking Canadians, so they got to have some hockey talk in
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, as be a friend. Sorry,
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but yes, be a friend, tell a friend. Don't miss that out. And again, still, it'll be up there the whole time. So even if you don't catch it live, you can still watch it on the replays and everything. And again, me and Anthony will be catching there. Be waiting with bated breath, taking notes of what did he say? What he say? Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I'm excited for it. Should be good tomorrow. And we got John Cena out here now. So we're about to have the start of this match.
Right. And I know you mentioned about potentially seeing CM Punk, the second City Saint, show up. I'm sorry that I had to show up and just be the third City Ain't. But yeah. I do think that it could be the way to where we get a Ron Killings win here. Because could this just be the ultimate culmination of Ron Cena, John Cena? Ron Cena does not win the belt off John Cena, but he does get a pinfall victory over him. Of he beat his childhood hero, of he conquered his demon, the man who still should have played into the reason Ron got fired was because of John. But I could see Punk shows up and helps Ron get a win here.
Yeah, I think that definitely may happen with this match. Man, it's different seeing like R-Truth just in this so serious role with these facial expressions.
Well, it's just normally that's Ron Killings, but he had the braids and everything back then. He was still kind of more quick. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? Is it interesting that we saw the whole collective of 3 Live crew in one weekend was all involved in wrestling? And we had Road Dogg Jesse James, we had Ron the Truth Killings, aka K Quick, pop up, and then we had Conan K Dog on commentary. So we had all of 3 Live crew in a weekend.
We did all in one weekend. Crazy.
As we are in a way, folks, to let us know who you take it. And yeah, still on one hand, I respect the hairline. On the other hand, he is very much, King Ishii. Yeah. He is very much New Japan with this hairline here. He is murder grandpa-ing. He is murder considered murder grandpa. His hairline.
Talking about R-Truth a little bit.
Yeah, he's not Minoru Suzuki. He's got the Minoru Suzuki fucking haircut here.
He does a little bit. He does. R-Truth looks determined in this match.
The truth has set him free as we go to commercial break. As Dawn saying, I want to say this deep Dawn, but it's deep down. I really think it's getting to Cena. He has one way. He was one way for so long. He doesn't know how to act. Ooh, that's got some stang to it.
I like that. You might be onto something, Don.
Do you think that it is because of Cena's? Well, because the last time that Cena was having regular matches on Friday Night SmackDown, or had a match on SmackDown, I believe, was like 2023.
Somewhere around
I want to say, and that's when he was still wrestling 100 some odd matches in a year. And now we're going to, you could have that, and I still don't even think you'd have all of his dates. You would have extra dates, I almost feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely have extra dates if you do something like that. But yeah, Don is definitely onto something with that comment.
Yeah,
I like
but is he? Well, that gets into the whole minus truth. How does John Cena's heel turn work right now? Is it a yay or a nay? Out of 10, what would you give John Cena's heel turn? I think the further he's gotten away from Dwayne, he's gotten away from that gravitational pull. It's getting higher in the range. But yeah, what do you feel?
I think for me, like when it first started, when he first turned heel, I thought it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But after this the WrestleMania match with Cody Rhodes, everything kind of has died down. And like and I think we talked about it earlier in the stream, like the R-Truth thing didn't do anything to spike it for me. I'm down there. I'm surprised I'm agreeing with MDB, but I'm down there at a 5. I might be actually at a 4.
Fair enough. Oh, I was going to say, we've seen triple digits. I see 80 some odd people. I should see some 80 some odd replies here of how are you feeling? Is John Cena's heel turn on its own merit, mid? Is it one of those that And I get it is a little bit of him unleashing. He's been so buttoned up and suited and booted. Oh, this goes back to Word Life, the doctor of thugonomics and everything. John Cena is capable of doing this, but does it feel shoehorned? And that's the thing is I hate the aspect that we're even having to discuss this, because this should be right off in the sunset. Best, huge arc that he's going off of with John Cena, and we're debating if it feels shoehorned and feels class A, if it feels, redundant, if it's, paint by numbers, if it's phoned in, if this is Jordan with the Wizards type shit.
I think redundant is a good term to use. I also believe it's a bit too late too. I feel like we should have had this heel turn years ago. And I know this is more unpopular, but I'm in agreement with John C that he's kind of played out too.
Well, yeah,
That's why I said
the overwhelming opinion from the chat and everything was fives and mids.
Yeah, it's giving mid. It's definitely giving mid.
But I still like that it's still in that middle of it. It's still questionable. It's still a variable of you can have someone like, there's been some parts of this I really like this. John's now just walking off with my title. Fuck this. I don't need to. I don't care. What the fuck does this have to do with my relevancy if I lose on a count out to Ron Killings right now?
And now it just ended.
And so R-Truth wins by disqualification.
Yeah. And here comes CM Punk.
Look in my eyes. What do you see?
And John Cena running away.
I think we literally watched that man piss his jorts live on air. Again, things I never thought I'd say watching wrestling, but we have stained jorts on pro wrestling, I feel. But yeah, so fuck me, though, if the whole Ron Killings thing is now just such an afterthought and is just fully pivoted to now have fun with Malachi Black, because you are done facing John Cena. You had your 2 matches, and they all equivalent to about 5 minutes total. So have a good night.
I didn't even think.
We know you don't like this. We know you don't like this.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I didn't even think this was gonna end in a DQ. I really thought it was going to end with CM Punk getting involved to distract the ref for R-Truth to capitalize and take the victory, but which I feel like would have been better. But this
is that a bit of the issue as John Cena just hits Punk with the belt and is now going, we got to get the Slim Jim table. We're going to get an AA to the Slim Jim. We're going to snap into one real quick. Is it because John went so far from being a top tier, being one of the best pro wrestlers? I won't say wrestlers because of in-ring or whatever, but being one of the best pro wrestlers. We still believed he hit 17 AAs, he's going to win the match. Versus now he just kicks you in the dick or hits you with a title belt, and that's how he wins the match type of thing. It went so far to the old school, over the top, blatant heel.
Yeah.
That it's now like, it's almost annoying because like you don't even get a good match. You just get quickly, I'll just hit you with a title belt, disqualification, we're out of here.
Yeah, it's been the same.
This is the 7th belt shot that we've seen, and this has just been fucking 5 minutes. AA through the snap into a Slim Jim. There we go.
We still got 10 minutes left too. So what happens?
Oh, do we cut it short?
He grabs the mic.
Oh, now it would be so apropos. I want to turn this up because if he does a pipe bomb-esque promo, because CM Punk, as you're sitting there, so cross your legs, John. Just cross your legs. It would be so apropos. It's all the parodies. Yes, as you sit there. There. Yes, he's doing the pipe bomb. broken through a table. And he hits it. He's doing the pipe bomb. Just cross your legs. Sit in the center of the ring and cross your legs. Don't get on the corner.
Okay.
Position. He's doing the fucking pipe bomb. This is so good. I wish though this was the end of the tour versus the Middle Eastern tour. Yeah.
Middle Eastern.
I got a whole lot of stuff off my chest. This is so fucking good. This is winning me back fully of John as a heel. I wish though it wasn't Saudi. That's the biggest stick in my craw. I hate this idea
of you.
You're the best in the world. It is so. And the crowd's cheering. The crowd is cheering.
Likes this, yeah.
Like I said, if he was just subtle details, walk up to the ramp and sit cross-legged and do it that way. Go full board of we're going to copycat it. John Cena just dropped a curse word. Hi, Colt Cabana. Fourth wall. Yo. This must be, to me, some of John Cena's best shit. The truth is, I'm jealous of you. Oh. Whoa. This is, it is so good. And again, I just hate that this isn't the end of the tour. This isn't the encore. Instead, this is just the Middle Eastern, Midwestern tour. You don't even mean a goddamn word you say. Hey, we might be heading towards. I knew that tweet would come back to haunt him. If you know, you know. If you don't, you get it. You get it. Where's another camera as he's going?
Oh, shoot.
I'm waiting for him to make an AEW reference.
Okay, now this was pretty cool. He just mentioned Nick Nemeth, Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh.
We're
still on, baby. Yeah. As we got 7 minutes. They won't get. They haven't cut my microphone. Things are heating up. And there's no one back there who's going to cut my mic to save your ass. Oh, this is Dragon Balls, my guy. This is. Does your clout hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you tie it in a knot? Can you tie it in a bow? Hello, Colt Cabana. Promo potato salad, pal. Raisins or no raisins? You're not the voice of the voiceless. You're a freaking millionaire.
A capitalist.
You're not punk. You're a capitalist. Yo. Oh. Body blow after body blow. Stop. He's already dead. You're not against TKO. You're Mr. TKO.
That's what he said.
This is the best thing they have done with the John Cena heel. Of all right, let him, and it's the pairing it's what we knew was going to happen and needed to happen with a guy like Punk, who has such an artillery. What did he just say? By the way, Punk died. He's been selling this for fucking 15 minutes now.
He's 6 feet under.
He hasn't even moved. Not even a sniffle, nothing. Bring up Jungle Boy. Bring up the Young Bucks. Yeah, that's the thing is you needed this kind of moment and to have them just go tit for tat with this. And John's a guy who is not to be played with and not to be fucked with on the microphone. You want to be the big dog. This is how you're going to have to learn how to be one.
Right.
I buried you years ago. And after Night of Champions, you still continue to show up. Please, I need a picture of John Cena sitting cross-legged with a microphone in his hand next to a broken-ass CM Punk through a table. You're welcome, Grand Rapids. Why? What is the crowd even? He pitched to the crowd, but what? They're halfway chanting Punk. They're halfway chanting him.
The crowd's confused themselves.
Yeah. The mood has started to change. Oh, I like that. If he's acknowledging that they're starting to get behind this shit.
Yeah.
No. That's fine. I'm not gonna do any more damage. You need to rest up. You got a big championship match ahead of him.
We got a big championship match ahead.
Best in the world. Get a good shot against the greatest of all time.
Yeah. You're a wee loud with the background audio, sir.
WWE Undisputed Champ.
Yeah, I can hear his promo before I hear his promo. I know you will sing. I know you will chant.
So we ended with him saying,
that's a fucking bar, though. That's got layers to that. I even know you idiots are dumb enough to see the truth. The champ is here.
Huh.
I am sports all the entertained. Always going back. Yo, that last part felt like that wasn't supposed to be a thing. To where he goes back after what was supposed to be the end of the segment.
Yeah.
Grabs the mic and says, I even ripped off your promo to make you look even more foolish. Again, work or shoot. I don't care. But it was fucking great. It was fucking cool.
Wow.
Yo. Folks, that seems to be ending Friday Night SmackDown. So you can let us know your ratings out of 10 if you have your jaw still capable, or if not, at least let the remaining teeth that are dropping out your mouth click the buttons on the keyboard here, because I was all the way of like a 6.5, a 7. I was not super. It was average at best with the SmackDown, and holy fuck, did they just hit a late inning grand slam to win the fucking game here, a walk-off.
So that's how we end SmackDown.
Again, I said it. I don't know how you feel. I feel I was 6.5, 7. I was middle of the road, average at best, fully not sports entertained, I guess. And then they just walked off, grand slammed our ass with this.
Yeah. When it comes to SmackDown, I was at a 6.5. I'm still basically like at a 6.5 too. The promo was nice. I with John Cena, it didn't hit me the way it hit a lot of people in the chat and the way it hit you. I did like him mentioning Nick Nemeth and Claudio. That was pretty cool. But
Mhm.
outside of that, it didn't really do much for me with this heel run as he continues on as he's walking his way out the door at the end of
So
the year.
Anthony moved from a 6.5 to a 6 3/4.
Yeah, it doesn't really change much for me.
I'm conflicted because to me that promo, that last half hour, what have you, it was the last 15 minutes or so, was a solid, clear 10 out of 10. Like that was just such just icing on the cake and everything. And again, my biggest stick in my craw is I wish we were getting this, and this was the build up to the end of the era, the end of the tour versus the middle of the tour, the Middle Eastern of the tour, if you will. SmackDown beyond this was, like you said, a 6.5, a 7 of it wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't great. It was average at best. I mean, if I'm combining everything together and trying to be not super partial because of
The
recency bias, I'll go an 8. And that's a bold thing because they were not near an 8. That last promo brought them up a full 1.5.
Wow, an 8. That's I thought she was gonna say like 7.5 or something.
I mean, half a point difference here, my guy. I know
mean,
you only went a quarter of a point. Sorry, I went a little bit above and beyond. I really liked them at the end.
To each their own. 8 is. I mean, if you felt like it was an 8, that's fine. I'm at a 6.5.
So you were not swayed at all, by CM Punk or by John Cena's, pipe bomb.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, so folks, let us know. Do you lean more towards Anthony's side or more towards I's side? And I don't know. We're getting more people right down the middle of 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Boston money did nothing for me this year. Is just not good. I'm about turned out for most of WWE programming at this point. Are you with your brethren, your buddy there, Boston, of tuned out?
Honestly, tonight was the first time I watched a full episode of SmackDown in about 3 months.
So you went from tuned out to tuned back in, though.
I tuned back in to cover KJ tonight.
Oh, so you obligatory reasons. Well, as someone who's out here in the trenches, I think that this was still, like I said, it is still good. It is still enjoyable and everything like that. I think tonight was very much one of its weaker episodes going forward, and even still some of the stuff like the Ron killings, our true stuff versus John Cena literally just turns and it gets ended with fucking belt shot and disqualification and just is an afterthought at that point. I really like the ending. I hate that Ron Killings needed to get sacrificed for it, essentially. And we're setting up for him versus Malachi, it feels, which he didn't even get a match because of our truth. Right. That's the thing is we've got Randy Orton, who already beat Sami for part of the semifinals. So we know when it comes to Cody versus Jey Uso, it's most likely 9 times out of 10 or even 10 times out of 10 going to be Cody Rhodes winning that. So we already know that. So again, the average of SmackDown tonight, for me, it is very much carried and levied by that end. I really like that ending. I think that was some of the best stuff that they've done for John Cena as a heel, of playing into the whole pipe bomb of CM Punk. We know is a guy who can decimate people on the mic of, you bald fraud. Every time you come out and you do this shit and everything, and just can cut a promo for 30 seconds and completely change the narrative. Yeah. I really like Cena going out of his way and going through all of that and just airing. It was the airing of grievances. It was the Festivus for the rest of us with the airing of grievances. So says Seinfeld. But the ending, I don't want it to fully carry the show. So that's why I'm an 8. Maybe I'll meet you at a 7.5. I don't know. I can see you 6.5, and especially you didn't like the end. You know, you weren't swayed by truth to begin with. You weren't swayed by anything with Cena, so you were already going to stay the Falcon.
That's true. That's true. I expected, you know, maybe a longer match between those two and not a disqualification after all the hoopla about, you know, R-Truth coming back, and then this match ends in a disqualification. It's like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is I was fully on board at that point of even Cal the 444. I agree with Anthony, 7 out of 10. If I was there at that point, the Cena heel turn was getting stale, was again of you're really buying into and leaning into this whole you can't wrestle shit because you're proving and showing you don't wrestle. You just hit people with low blows and hit them with belts. So where's the wrestling? So that's and just the end of that for me just kind of sent in. I'll live on that.
And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Everybody, you know, is entitled to their own opinion and rating. So, you know, that's perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah. No. I ain't fighting you. I want to hug you. Andrea saying, hi, guys. I hate John Cena. He's a real jerk. I hope CM Punk gets his revenge and wins the undisputed WWE Championship at Night of Champions. See, I would have much more believed this if that match happened
at a later date.
At fucking SummerSlam, even. If it would have happened at a later date to be determined versus middle of the Sahara Desert, you know, Prince Ali, Fabulous Ali Ababa ain't fucking deciding this match. If this is John Cena wins this in Saudi to me, you're giving away the result just on where it is. And granted, your casual viewer will believe Punk can win it. Your regular viewer, I know the outcome. I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We all know that next Saturday is definitely John Cena winning. We will want it to be CM Punk, but it's definitely John Cena.
Right. WWE Army is saying my comments getting buried. Yeah. Well, that's the first time I've seen of you, sir. But even then, still, if you worry that your comments are getting buried, don't worry. We got shovels, pickaxes. We got all the Minecrafts for you out there. You can be a friend of the mines, a fan of the mines. Dig your way out. We got the super chats, the super stickers, and everything for you. It's late on in the evening, and I'm pivoting and pigeoning to everything. I even tried to say pitching and said pigeoning. But yes. Andrew with a 9 out of 10. Larry, I saw Trish. Yeah, no Trish. The rumors.
No Trish. Where was Trish? We needed Trish.
KJ just took her. He's fucking King Konging her up there as he's out there climbing the mountains and the people and the steeples and the peoples out there to speak words with the good gospel of PCO and everything.
Right.
But yeah, again, that's the thing is I like that neither one of us were mad that the rumors didn't hold true. That because what I fantasy book didn't happen didn't determine my decision making on any of this.
Exactly.
It was still what I saw before my very eyes.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you know, we love the fantasy book, but when it doesn't go our way, we shouldn't be upset about it.
Exactly. But Cal, what up? Chris, what up? Jose, Wrestling God, does me not liking your precious television show? Oh my God. Don't fucking try and start fights here. Y'all goddamn involved in all this. Don't start picking fights with each other. We don't need to be mom and dad. We already got substitution. Don't make me call the fucking principal out here and everything. I will shut this fucking Scooby-Doo episode, this Magic School Bus. Miss Frizzle won't ever fucking solve this shit because I'll shut this shit down real quick.
Miss Frizzle.
But 8.5 10 out of 10 were pivot all the way. I went full dad Jackie Moon of everybody love everybody.
Right.
10 out of 10, 0 out of 10, no Trish. 8 out of 10.
It's like a little mixture tonight. We got some 6, some 7, some 8. You know, all just a mixture of ratings.
Right.
Not one leading to the other.
Well, I think it's very dependent on, like you brought up before, and I hadn't seen that perspective of wasn't behind R-Truth and didn't like Cena's heel turn. Like that's such an interesting, like that's the double negative that I wasn't expecting out there. And so no, if you're somebody that's in that fold, which it seems like some people may be, that you very much this was keeping your head above water at best SmackDown versus I, who was all the way, I need all my killings and I need all my Cenas and pipe bombs and everything. IRA, here we go. But the ending very much kind of swayed my opinion on the rest of the show.
Yeah. I mean, which is fair, which is definitely fair. Like you said, it all kind of depends on what you're liking and what's going on with the show. So yeah, everyone's ratings is always fair to what they think it is.
Right. But we got a 9 out of 10. Anybody got any last minute ratings? You got any last minute thoughts, sir? We're at 11:11, right on the dot. We're make a wish. Pause. But yeah, my guy.
No last minute thoughts. I do want to say SmackDown does look pretty stacked next week. We got a bunch of championship matches, so that could be fun. And then we got Night of Champions next Saturday, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we can catch the rest of the TNA episode that we got robbed of because they started early. On Thursday, when we're doing the prediction show for Night of Champions. But yes, absolutely. SmackDown next week looks stacked and jacked. You got both pretty much U.S. titles on the line here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're getting fully Continental here. But speaking of Continental, again, we've got KJ out there sitting down with PCO tomorrow again.
Right there.
I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. But what I've been told and what I might have been knowing, don't miss it. Don't miss out 100%. Even if you don't catch it live, you'll be out there. So catch the replays and everything. And trust me, and Anthony will be out there live in the chat of, can you believe he did say that? Can you say that? It will be live chat and everything. It'll be live reaction, live drama. We got the tea with Anthony.
Absolutely. This is going to be a good one tomorrow. Like Nick said, we both will be in the chat listening to what PCO Perfect Creation 1 has to say.
Right. Now, are you jaded as a TNA fan? Are you jaded?
Jaded for
PCO? Or do you still hold a candle and hold a memoriam for the digital media title?
No, because I don't. I'm glad we got that international title. It looks way better. And I'm glad PCO is kind of doing his own thing outside of TNA now. So I don't feel jaded that we don't have PCO anymore.
Right. But we back at it like a jackrabbit too as well for Monday Night Raw. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for Friday Night SmackDown. We end with John Cena leaving CM Punk crippled in a hot mess through a Slim Jim table, no less. But our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you better put that full life with it.
We'll see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Raw, and check out PCO tomorrow.
Do it.